Tonight on Speed, Senator Jeff Burton, the mayor of the garage area, so to speak, and four-time Cup champ Jeff Gordon. Stop by the Ultimate Friday Night House Party. It's NASCAR trackside for Martinsville. It's tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Speed. There's a look at Jeff, whose hometown is South Boston, Virginia, not too far to the east. So this would be a home game for Burton.
And with the extension of the quarter panels, the cars look like they're lower to the track.
Oh, I love it. I love the whole look, Darrell.
Now the cars that used to look like when you come here with the wing on the back look like they're all hiked up in the rear end. Now they're all just down and dirty, like they're digging on a short track.
Really, looks like they got slammed.
Yeah.
Right down to the pavement.
Well,
Joe Nemechek has the third quickest lap here today.
Joe's good here.
Yeah, he's by far the fastest go homer, but actually Johnny Sauter in that second Tommy Baldwin car, the 35 car, he's fifth quickest, so those guys quick as far as the go homers, but I think we'll see the same thing we saw at Bristol last week. We get to that final 30 minutes of this practice, you'll see the practice chart really start to change.
In fact, if that won't stay in the top 5 if that's all you got.
No.
Because these guys are on qualifying runs every time they go out. And the other boys are trying to, they think about rain and weather, and they want to try their race setup and experiment a little bit. These guys are full-blown. Every time they go out, it's 2 laps, see what we can do.
Joe won the pole here in the fall of 1999. Dick?
Well, we're well agreed that the look of the car is very improved. But Denny Hamlin, how does the car feel with the new spoiler in the back?
If I wouldn't have looked back there, I would have never really known a difference. But our FedEx car is pretty good. It's we're getting a little bit loose on the long run, so we need to work on that. But we're going to switch over to qualifying trim now because it looks like we're going to get it in today.
All right, Denny Hamlin, one of the guys to beat on Sunday for sure.
Yeah, there's no rain expected. There's a lot of big, heavy clouds and scattered sunshine in the area, but I don't think we have much of a chance of rain this afternoon.
No, actually, it was supposed to rain this morning, but it moved through here during the night, and it looks like we're good to go the rest of the day. Tomorrow looks beautiful. They're calling for some late afternoon thunderstorms on Sunday, but right now we look awfully good.
Max Pappas missed the show at Bristol after spending some time at Hickory running a late model to try to get his short track game up to par. And so he is out of the top 35.
This is one racetrack that the person that can help you the most is the cat driving the car. It's so easy here to just get intimidated by this little racetrack, mainly because you use so much brake. So how much brake? You say you use a lot. How much? Then you got to get back in the gas. Okay, so when I do, the car gets sideways. Well, you're getting back in it too soon. And you'll hear drivers talk about there's a rhythm. All these short tracks have a real nice rhythm to them. On and off the brakes, on and off the gas, just kind of finessing the car. Finesse drivers are the guys that do good here.
Well, to put it in simple form, Mike, this race car that weighs over 3,500 pounds, there's 3 major components about getting around a racetrack, and that's getting that 3,500 pound to stop getting in the corner, getting it to turn and rotate through the middle, and getting it to accelerate with that over 800 horsepower off the corner. This track hates all 3 of those components.
Yeah, I feel like, though, here's where a driver and a crew chief have to really be working together, because in my opinion, the driver is the guy that gets the car in the corner. He's the guy that drives it down there. If you drive it in too hard and use too much brake, it won't turn. If you don't drive it, brakes are the key. The crew chief, on the other hand, he's got to get the car off the corner. He's got to be the guy that makes the adjustment to the car so that when you get back in the throttle, you can get back in it wide open and it'll accelerate straight off the corner. So driver has to get it in, then the crew chief has to do his part and get it off.
That's a great explanation. You buying that, Larry?
Yes, sir. I'll buy it. In other words, the crew chief's the most important element.
The only thing I'm buying is the hot dogs. Where are they?
I'm in there by myself.
There aren't many of us who use a cell phone just to make phone calls. But when AT&T or Verizon offer you an unlimited plan for $69.99, that's all it's good for, phone calls. With Sprint, for the same price, you get unlimited text, unlimited web, and unlimited calling to every mobile phone in America. Now that's more like it.
$69.99 for unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile in America. Only from Sprint.
At Polaris, we didn't build a machine with 70 horsepower to be taken out for a Sunday drive. Like we didn't engineer a machine that packs an 800 twin EFI to haul around a picnic basket. Extreme machines, extreme deals. Right now, get up to $1,200 in rebates and financing as low as 3.99%. That's up to $1,200 in rebates and financing as low as 3.99% on the hardest working, smoothest riding line of ATVs and side-by-sides. The Polaris XP sales event.
Daddy, can I have another? Yes. Seconds on dessert? Yes. At CC's, you get to act like a big spender without being one. And now we've extended our anniversary price of just $3.99. Hurry, it's only through March 28th.
We video chatted with some of the millions we've matched on eHarmony.
What they get out of me and what they get out of him and how they decide that we're perfect for one another. I don't know how they figured that part out, but they got it so right.
View your compatible matches for free at eHarmony.com.
We love getting our Outback dirty because it seems like the dirtier it gets, the more it shines.
The Subaru Outback, Motor Trend's 2010 Sport Utility of the Year.
Hurry into the Subaru Love Spring event for great deals on all models, now through March 31st.
Welcome back to Martinsville, Virginia. First round of practice for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. A familiar name tops the chart. No, it's not the 6 of David Reagan, not quite. It's Jimmy Johnson. A lap of 19.727.
Just imagine that. Jimmy Johnson at top of the chart. I would not have even guessed that.
Krista?
Jimmy Johnson taking the steering wheel off, getting ready to get out of the car. The team switching over to a qualifying setup. You know, what's funny is Johnson, I asked him, I said, you know, a lot of fans are saying you're bad for the sport, this domination. He likened it to Michael Jordan. Was he bad for basketball? Was Tiger Woods bad for golf? And he said, hey, you know, I have another idea. If anyone's not having fun, they can become a 48 fan because we're having a blast.
And I think it bears noting that the 3 races Jimmy has won this year, he did not dominate any of those races. Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, and Kurt Busch did. But Jimmy was there when it counted, and just reinforcing what we've long said is he is the best closer, maybe the best one this sport's ever known.
I believe he is, and I tell you the other thing I believe is that if you're getting beaten by him every week, it's frustrating because you're not as good as he is. You just aren't at that. You can't get to that level. And that's what's frustrating as a driver, crew, everybody. How come we can't get to that level?
And you know what? We had 93 races with that wing, and Jimmy Johnson and that 48 group won 22 of them. Now, here's a little nugget for you. That was his 50th win at Bristol. It took him 296 starts to get there. The quickest anyone's gotten there was Jeff Gordon at 232. Who do you think's the second quickest?
Richard Petty.
How about Darrell Waltrip at 278?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, well, what was I thinking?
You need to win 1 out of 5 races to do that. I mean, look at that. And the name right off the chart is Junior Johnson. 303 starts to get his 50th win.
Yeah. I was driving for Junior when I got my 50th win. Fired me right after that.
Well, that's when you tied him.
You
for
tied
career
him.
win.
I tied him, yeah. That's right. That's what KO said. You ain't beat me yet. You just tied me.
Terry Cook is 36th on the speed chart, and where he is practicing right now, he would be right on the cusp of making the race for Sunday. Ryan Newman in the 39.
How about our buddy Ryan Newman? We had the pleasure of sitting down with him this morning. You know, we always like to know what these guys are doing away from the racetrack. He's building a windmill on his property. How tall did he say this windmill is going to be?
47 feet.
47 feet.
And this is not a Don Quixote kind of windmill. This was a working farm windmill up in Intercourse, Pennsylvania, that was disassembled, was no longer needed, and sold to a broker down here, a fellow who sells farm equipment. Turns out the fellow that Brian bought it from, his son works for Stewart Haas Racing.
Yeah. And he just had met him that day, I guess. He went to buy it.
Yeah, I told him I'd get Hammond to come over and help him test it. Plenty of wind right there, boys.
I'd just hang it out down at the Hollywood Hotel. We'll put it to the test.
Open the door. Better grease up them bearings real good.
There we go. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Some good stuff there.
Take matters in your own hands. Keep that car running better, longer. Do everything you can to make sure a small job doesn't turn into a costly one. And AutoZone is the one place with the expertise and tools you need to do the job right the first time. Because do it yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through 21st Century Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $474 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $481. From Allstate, $526. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched. Or this one. And no other company gives you 21st Century Security Advantage that includes roadside assistance at no additional cost. Immediate savings available through 21st Century Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-888-GET-2121 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-888-GET-2121. Call now or visit 21st.com.
From the dirt roads hidden in the foothills of North Carolina. From the smoothly packed sand on the beaches of Daytona. From the main streets of small-town USA. They are drawn along with thousands of others to bring their stories and their passion for speed to the place where it all comes to life, where the spirit lives on, where the race lives on. The NASCAR Hall of Fame. Get opening day tickets and charter memberships today.
Sprint brings you an inside look at what's happening now inside the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Top speed of this session, Denny Hamlin, 96.2 miles an hour.
Dropping her on down there, Larry, 1968.
For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, it's NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Sam Hornish, you saw, up to 8th in this practice session, and Joey Logano currently toward the bottom of the chart after 20 laps.
You know, after Joey sat on the pole last week at Bristol, he has now become the youngest Sprint Cup Rookie of the Year, the youngest race winner after winning at Loudon last year, and now the youngest pole winner, and did it in 44 career starts as well.
And yet, he is a racing driver with, what, 13 years experience?
At least.
Behind the wheel?
At least. Every bit of it.
You know what about those 13 years? They were winning years, too. He's won in everything he's driven.
Tony is 30th on the speed chart, and his teammate Ryan Newman 24th right now.
And you know, speaking of Joey, I really like his demeanor. I like the way he goes about his business. He's a gentleman. He races fair. He races clean. He may have to get a little tougher as he goes down the road because guys seem to maybe possibly take advantage of him at times because of being the way he is. But he'll toughen up.
He's very confident, but he's not cocky at all.
No.
And you know, sometimes you have to get a little bit of that in you.
Yep, a little attitude.
You know, frankly, I don't see a whole lot of difference between Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski in the car. But out of the car, the perception of those two young drivers is very different. And yes, everybody wants Brad to be more respectful and wants Joey to pick it up and get up on the wheel.
Step it up a bit.
Well, I'll tell you that, you know, that nationwide race, Kevin Harvick didn't turn Joey around just for no reason.
Right.
Joey was running him pretty aggressively, and Harvick thought he was faster. Whether the end justified the means is a subject for great debate.
I might be one of those. You can look at it two ways. Why did you wreck me for 5th place? And now the other side of the coin is why didn't you get out of my way for fifth place?
See, Scott Speed, you know, I was talking to his crew chief, Jimmy Elledge, this morning, that 82 car. This is the first time I think they've ever been able to breathe and not have to worry about not being in the top 35. And of course, Scott has been well up in the points, had a little bit of a bobble last week when he had that tire cut down with 20 to go, but still comes in here 18th in the points.
There's his teammate, Brian Vickers, 27th on the board, and just about a 20 flat.
And Larry, if you just, you know what, once you're in the top 35 pretty comfortably, I mean, you got to have some really bad days to get knocked out. Because guys back in that range back there, the one thing that like Kevin Conway comes to mind. The reason he's in the top 35 is because he finished every race.
Yeah, right. Running at the end.
He wasn't running that great. Maybe he didn't finish but 30th or 27th, but he finished every race.
Mark Martin is fourth quickest right now at a 1977. Actually, Montoya just went to the top of the charts a second ago with that 42 car.
First time this year for CarQuest on Mark's
Good-looking
Chevrolet.
car.
Yeah,
Good-looking car.
They're going to do a bunch of races with Henry. Not as many as last year with the 5 team, but they will be primary sponsor for a number of races.
Talking about Montoya, I was sitting over at the Speedway this past week, and I like to listen to the cars. And there was no cars over there that had more grunt and was coming up out of the corner with speed more than the guys that had the ECR engines. Those guys are making some smoke, I'm telling you. They sound like they had 100 more horsepower when they'd come up out of the hole.
Now, when we qualify this afternoon, it's kind of an interesting procedure the way they do it, because the cars go out on the racetrack in turn 2. When they come around to the start-finish line, that's almost just like a warm-up lap. The next lap will be a warm-up lap, so you really get 3 laps, but your time laps are lap 2 and lap 3 the way it works.
And that really confuses you and your crew chief. So do I go hard when I leave pit road, or do I take it easy?
Yeah,
do I try to get it on the first lap, or do I try to make it up on the second lap?
Because does it confuse your tires?
Well, that's
and at what point do you take the good off the tire?
Yeah, well, you take the good off them, and then it's that debate about what air pressure do I want to go out with. If I'm going to go hard on that first lap, I want to be at max. If I'm going to let it come to me a little bit, then I got to be down a couple of pounds. And then, do I pump up the rights and leave the lefts alone? Or do I pump them all up, tires here and tire pressure to qualify with, and whether you go on stickers or not, I'll tell you, it'll drive you crazy.
Huge, though. Very huge.
Back down the garage, and Krista.
Well, at the start of this practice session, Kurt Busch said his number 2 car was terrible. He said to his crew chief, I'm still struggling. Steve Addington and his crew made changes. After that last run, Kurt said the last 2 changes were great. He said, this may be the best laps that I have ever run at Martinsville. Dick?
Known that brakes are incredibly important here at Martinsville. In fact, a complete set of brakes for one of these cars, including just 1 set of pads, is going to set a team back about $20,000. Right now, Ryan Newman's team is changing over to a qualifying setup, and among the changes they are going to make, rotors that are for qualifying only. Says so right on the tape on the outside of those brake rotors.
And you know why you do that? Because these brakes are what they race with are so big and so good that you'll over-brake the car. We've actually taken here to qualify, changed the pads around, have a soft pad on the inside and a hard pad on the outside of the rotor, so you don't have so much brake. Because one of the things you'll do here, overdrive the corner, get on those great big old brakes with all that force, you'll lock up the tires. So you play a little bit of a mind game with the car and the driver, trying to balance those brakes out so they're not good, but not too good.
Montoya, Hamlin, and Johnson pace this practice, which has now been going on for about 45 minutes.
Ron Hornaday struggled in Atlanta, while his owner Kevin Harvick cruised to victory lane. Saturday, the world's toughest trucks march into Martinsville, and we're there as the action gets tight.
And some contact.
And metal is crushed.
Oh, into the wall.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, live from Martinsville, Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Select Izod IndyCar driver. Driver selected. Tony Kanaan. Select race transport. Mission finish first. race-to-the-party.com.
Comcast Spring Break, presented by Pizza My Heart, is back at the admission-free Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Come down for 3 days of sand, surf, music, and hot rides. Fun family activities every day. Meet your favorite costume characters, win prizes, play beach soccer, and strut your stuff at the Kids Dance Party. The Boardwalk is open daily for Spring Break starting Saturday, March 27th. Visit beachboardwalk.com for special Spring Break discounts. For accommodations, call the Hilton Santa Cruz Scotts Valley. Grab your friends and head to Comcast Spring Break April 7th through the 9th. Details at ComcastSpringBreak.com.
It was a great day. I was out celebrating with some friends, and I don't really drink that much. If I had left my car parked there, I would have gotten towed. And, it was only a few miles to my house. Could have got someone to drive me home, but I didn't. I had to be up early for work, and I just wanted to sleep in my own bed. I killed 2 kids that night. Should have been me. That would have been easier.
There they are, and tomorrow, the world's toughest trucks march into Martinsville. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live right here tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Boys, they get it on here in those trucks. Most of them leave here without a tailgate because they are banging on each other.
Tailgates and tempers.
That's right.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. watching the video scoreboard here at Martinsville Speedway. They were talking about Kurt Busch a while ago. He said earlier this week that Martinsville, for him, is the toughest racetrack. It's the most difficult, that he struggles with the most. There's his crew chief, Steve Addington. But going back to Bristol, I was so pumped up to see Kurt Busch after that race. He didn't care about a good points day. He wasn't worried about finishing third. He was there to win that race, and he was ticked because he didn't win that race.
He led 278 laps there, which is the most he's ever led in one race at Bristol. Larry, all he's got to do is look at the tape of that last restart. When those cars took off and went into turn 1, it's like the Red Sea parting for Moses. That hole opened up for Jimmy Johnson, and he dove through it, and it closed right up for Kurt Busch, just that quick.
Just like it opened up for him on the last restart at Atlanta, I think, when he dove down through the middle.
Well, I'm still not convinced that he wasn't partly upset, though, about him. I think he is the one that asked for 4 tires. And I'm not so sure that he wasn't upset that, maybe I should have taken 2 and we could have had that track position rather than be caught back there the way we were.
I think he was probably the only car that might have gotten away with 2 tires and held the lead and won the race. We'll never know.
That's where Chad Knaus keeps those guys so messed up they don't know what to do next. What's Chad going to do?
He wins with 2. He wins with 4.
Is he going to take 2? What if he beats me and takes 4?
Montoya back to the top of the chart as we check with Dick.
With David Rudiman, who went 44 consecutive races without a DNF, and then 2 in a row, engine failures out. Have you got the engine squared away for this weekend at Martinsville?
Oh, yeah. Total Racing Development always builds some great horsepower. And, the motor failure we had in Atlanta was self-inflicted. That was something that in-house failed on the NWR side. And we got that fixed. And last week, something just broke. So, you can't forget that Total Racing Development was building us motors for all those DNFs as well. I mean, not for the races that we always finish those 44 in a row that we had no problems with, and sometimes you're going to have problems. So hopefully we won't have any more this year. I think we got a good car, and they built us great horsepower, and it's always generally really reliable.
David's feeling extra pressure this weekend because his father, 68-year-old Buzzy Rudiman, won East Bay a couple of weeks ago. You got to get yourself a checkered flag to keep up with your old dad.
Absolutely.
Daryl, I think you said it this morning. Our racing is not about him. But if the engine hadn't blown up in that 00 car, I know Kurt Busch was a dominant car. That car, David Rudiman, was good last week at Bristol.
Yeah, he was real good. And, of course, Marcos was too. He got those couple of pit road speeding penalties, and both times he was coming back to the front. But Marcos had a wreck, and David had that engine problem.
Now, Carl Edwards is the only Ford in the top 20 in this practice session. He is 3rd. And if that fellow talking to Jeff Gordon looked familiar, it's because it's a former teammate of his, Ricky Craven, who is now doing some TV work for ESPN. Mike McDowell, 35th. And he's above the line on the go-homers as far as who would be in the race based on their practice speed. Not so much comfortably so. He and David Stremme would be the last two in the race based on practice speeds, with Terry Cook, Casey Mears, and Max Pappas the ones who would go home based on practice right now.
I guarantee it'll be just this way in qualifying. David Stremme would be in at a 20.098. Terry Cook would be out at a 20.12. And I guarantee it'll probably be even closer than that of who makes it and who goes home.
You know, one of the hardest things to do here is back up your practice speed. Boy, and it's because of that tire selection. So many times you get in this debate with yourself about whether I should go on stickers, scuffs, 1 lap, 2 lap.
You know, Robbie Gordon there is out of the top 20, and so is top 35, and so is David Stremme. Those cars were in the show with the qualifying exemption last week. Now they are out of the top 35 and are having to qualify. Their spots in the top 35 have been taken by Scott Speed and Bobby Labonte. And that will all change week to week.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Catch a special encore presentation of America's Wildest Talent Show, Fast Track to Fame, this Monday on Speed.
Energy drink for your feet. With ZigTech, I get more train, less pain.
This year I did my taxes 2 ways. I did it on my own with TurboTax, and I went into an H&R Block. They found an education credit that I missed. The tax professional told me that my refund was $2,000 more than what I had found on my own. Surprise! I was thinking, how can I miss something so big?
Taxes can be complicated, so doing taxes alone isn't for everyone. Choose the pros who have completed over 500 million returns already.
You don't know what you don't know, and that's why you go to H&R Block.
H&R Block. Get it right.
Let's pretend you had a magic outlet. You could use it to quietly power lots of things, even when there was no electricity. It was lightweight and came in different sizes. That's exactly the idea behind Honda portable generators. Quiet, reliable, and fuel efficient. They are not really magic, but they can make magical things happen. Honda, the power of dreams.
The NASCAR experience live. Everything else is just a game.
Sprint Cup practice live in Martinsville. Top of the board has changed again. Denny Hamlin has just laid down the quickest lap of the day at a 1960, displacing Juan Pablo Montoya from the top of the board. Then it's Clint Bowyer, Jeff Burton, and Carl Edwards. Mark Martin now 7th. He had been in the top spot.
I don't know that he will move on that lap because he had to pass someone. Whoever that is right behind him.
He actually moved up 1 spot, though, to a 19.726. That puts him 6th quickest right now.
And Jimmy Johnson is now 7th. 1/1000th of a second behind Mark.
That probably changed on this little run. Looks like everybody's out right now trying to see what they got.
No, 1988. No change. I like that shot, Darrell, where the car comes up off the corner and you see it just rear up and leap up off the corner.
Yeah, here it's like you're in a rocking chair. You want it to rock back when you come out of the corner, and you want it to rock forward when you go down in the corner. You want to put load on the front tires going in. You want to put load on the rear tires coming off.
You know, his record here, he has 16 starts here, and he's only finished, talking about Jimmy Johnson, outside the top 10 one time. His first visit here, he finished 35th.
Well, Dick is with a happy guy who maybe for the first time in his whole Cup career doesn't have to worry about qualifying.
How about that? Scott Speed. And it's taken a lot of the open wheel guys 2 years and even 3 years to get accustomed to these big, heavy stock cars. But you're 18th in points already. How have you gotten a hold of this stuff so quickly?
I don't know. I mean, like you said, it does take a while, and it's still, I got a long time in front of me yet till I really get the hang of it. But at the moment, we hit on something that's working, so keep that ball rolling, and hopefully we can continue to have success this year.
I see your wife has let you keep the hair for another week as well.
for now.
Maybe it'll be his good luck charm.
Wonder if he knows it's got that really blue-looking place in it.
Probably.
I think he does.
Dale Jr. up to 4th, and Jeff Burton to 5th. As we have a look at Brian Vickers, who is 25th right now.
Boy, Larry, I'm getting a little worried about Burton. Over to test in Charlotte, he was the fastest cat. And today, here he is in the top 5 in practice. That is a big kind of swing for that team because they don't always run that fast.
Well, how about his teammate who has 3 threes on the board, 2 on his car and 1 in the position number, 3rd fastest, Clint Boyer. Kristen.
That's right, Mike. This was a great car last year in this race. Clint Boyer turned that quick lap of 3rd on that last run. Clint set his car just a little bit too tight in the middle of the corner. So Shane Wilson, the crew chief, said, let's go up a quarter round on the right side track bar to try to make that better.
You know, ever since Northern Iowa got paired up in the bracket with Kansas, Krista has done every single interview and talk about with Clint Boyer. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. I would like to clarify that Burton runs fast in the race. He always does, but that kind of qualifying has never been real high on their priority list. Looks like they've really turned that around.
All year long, yeah.
Richard Childress has a busy weekend here. His grandson Austin will be racing here in the Camping World Truck Series, and Granddad was giving the young driver a few pointers from up on top of the hauler earlier as they watched this practice session.
And I don't know about anybody else, can't speak for other people, but I know it does my heart good when I looked out my window this morning and saw that 3 truck, the 3 that everybody's so familiar with, on the racetrack.
Absolutely. Jeff Gordon trying to make some noise. He is 22nd right now with a 1994. Picks it up to a 1976.
Up to 9.
And that will jump him up to the top 10. Denny Hamlin stays quickest, Montoya 2nd, and Boyer 3rd.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day marches into Martinsville, where Jimmy Johnson joins us live as we honor his 50th career win. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on Speed.
Now is absolutely the smartest time to buy a Toyota.
You know, it's great. You can't beat the deals right now.
0% financing for the entire term of the loan. Where can you beat that?
This is the opportunity you've been waiting for. But time is running out to take advantage of these historic offers. Get no interest payments for 5 years on many of your favorite models. And current Toyota owners visit Toyota.com for more unprecedented offers.
That's the best deal you could ever get.
0 to 300 in under 4 seconds. Can't beat that.
Well, actually you can at Copart.com.
You're right. Copart.com has over 50,000 vehicles online to choose from every day. Everything from classic cars, trucks, motorcycles, you name it.
That's what makes Copart.com the virtual auction.
Copart.com.
That's where car guys did cars.
And nothing flat.
A day in the life of Aaron spokesman Michael Waltrip.
Morning, Mr. Waltrip.
Morning. Could you move my 2 to 2:30 and hold all calls from DW?
Sure thing.
What is sports saying about me?
Morning, Dave.
Morning.
What's happening at ShopAarons.com?
Aaron's has name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers at the guaranteed low price. Flexible payment plans and no credit checks. Nobody beats Aaron's.
Autographs should have style like this. Oh, good, Lucky. Whoa, Dave.
NASCAR on Speed Broadband with videos on demand. Visit the video section of speedtv.com or NASCAR.com and get your race recaps for programs like Trackside Race Day, Victory Lane, and more. Sam Hornish has jumped up into the top half dozen, as has Jamie McMurray, now third, behind Hamlin and Montoya. And there is Brad Keselowski. Jimmy Johnson back up in the top 10, now 7th. And Keselowski 41st right now in this practice session. Carl Edwards, the only Ford in the top 10, which is 7 out of 10 Chevys, 1 Dodge, 1 Toyota.
Do you know, Mike, Roush cars here, I've watched them over and over again. They always seem to have a little, they struggle here. Matt Kenseth he's not a big fan of Martinsville. Biffle sometimes has brake issues. Carl probably overall has been the most consistent of the Roush Fenway cars.
We're talking about Scott Speed and not having to qualify. The first 5 races of his rookie season, that car was locked into the field based on prior year points, by the way. Phil Parsons pointed that out to us. He's up here with Rick Allen waiting to do the Craftsman Truck Series practice that comes along here in a little while.
Yeah, back to your point, Darrell. Jack Roush, the last time he won here was the fall race of 2002 with Kurt Busch driving that car.
Camping World Truck Series. You know, after 15 years, it's still hard. And every once in a while, it just falls out. But what are you going to do?
I didn't know what he was waving at. I thought my Jack Roush and Kurt Busch stat was wrong.
No, Slob's not here, so that's my imitation of Slob.
That's right. Throw your arms in the air. And get Camping World Truck
Throw your
Series.
arms in the air and shake your head. Don't ever tell them what it is you're talking about.
Well, all I know is this is a Sprint Cup Series, and that's the fastest Sprint Cup Series car in practice so far. Montoya goes back up top at a 19.58.
Every time he's gone out for a run, he's lowered the bar.
Got a little faster.
Another cat just jumped up there, A.J. Allmendinger, that 43 car, the Dinger's 3rd quickest.
Wow.
That's big.
And his car isn't even petty blue.
And McMurray, I mean, there's the one car, along with Montoya. They're both of those Ganassi cars in the top 5.
And that'll knock Junior out of the top 5. Now, there's 43 carrying Charter Communications and that purple and gold scheme. There is a car here that is petty blue, and it is one of the Richard Petty Motorsports cars. Just doesn't happen to be the 43.
You know, guys, we still have 30 minutes to go in this practice, which is actually like eternity when you think about it at Martinsville. Montoya's fastest at a 19.58. If this was indeed qualifying, Michael McDowell at a 20.07 would not make the show less than a half a second.
There's the petty blue car, and it's Elliott Sadler's. Not the first time the King has had petty blue on his Ford. At the Amelia Island Concourse a couple of weeks ago up north of Jacksonville that Bill Warner and Tom Cotter put on. The King was there. He was the honored guest. And a lot of cars of the King, Richard Petty, were there. Bruce Canepa hauled one of those 69 Torinos all the way from north of San Francisco to bring it to Jacksonville and include it in the display of cars of the King. Beautifully restored, ready to go. And apologies to Kyle Busch's coach driver, Steve. I threw him under the bus last week.
He got on us.
I understand, he talked to you, but I've talked to him. He was not responsible for resetting Kyle's, iDock or whatever it is that he puts his iPod into that tells him when to wake up because it's time to qualify.
So whose responsibility is it?
I would say.
If I find that out, I'll let you know. But it's a very circuitous path.
I think there's a clue.
Yeah.
I think there's a clue in the name of that instrument you talked about.
The I as in iPod,
That's
iDock.
Right. That's right.
Okay.
You know, we just heard real clearly there the rev limiter, and that actually is a pretty important tool here because I see guys tuning with that rev limiter chip more than anything to give that driver indication, hey, this is deep enough. Get out, roll out of the throttle.
You know the worst thing you can do, though?
What's that?
Is the driver say, I'm hitting the rev chip just before I get to the corner, so we'll raise it up a little bit. Next time you go out, you say, whoa! That is like your warning device.
The only rev limiter up here is going to be on the number of hot dogs consumed.
Whoa, man.
Krista.
We eat them by the bags.
Jimmy Johnson said his car got loose on that run. In fact, when Jimmy went out, Chad said he was looking for a 60, as in a 19.60. Their times 75 and 69. We're coming up a little bit short on that run, but short for this team, not too bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Krista. He had tires on then that looked like a qualifying run. I was surprised he didn't pick up more.
One thing that's unique about Martinsville now in the Sprint Cup Series is the straightaways are asphalt and all the way through the corners concrete. We started this practice session in full sun, Larry. Now we've gone to 100% overcast.
Yeah, Daryl and I were actually just looking at that. I mean, conditions are perfect right now. But, you know, one of the big challenges here used to be, because that concrete almost ended, well, we're looking at an entrance to the corner, but it ended well back in the corner, and when you would make that transition from the concrete to the asphalt, the car would want to lose a lot of forward bite. When they redid it a few years ago, they actually carried that concrete well up on the straightaway, and it's not near as a tough transition as it used to be.
You know why those corners are concrete?
Asphalt tore up.
Yeah, every time we come
side
here,
load.
yeah, all the tires were so good that they just eat the track up. They just dig the turns up every time we'd come here. And Mr. Clay Earls said, I know what I'll do. I'll fix that. They won't dig that concrete up. Well, Jeff Gordon might argue about that, but.
Well, Montoya is quickest in this practice session over Denny Hamlin and AJ.
Tonight, NASCAR heads to the famed half-mile of Martinsville. And we're there as Jeff Burton and four-time Cup champion Jeff Gordon stop by the ultimate Friday night house party. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside, live tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
Daddy, can I have another? Yes. Seconds on dessert? Yes. At CC's, you get to act like a big spender without being one. And now we've extended our anniversary price of just $3.99. Hurry, it's only through March 28th.
So what do you think?
We need his experience.
Yeah, but he has more energy.
Now you can get the best of both. Try Touch of Gray. Combs away a little gray without getting rid of it all.
I've got big plans for you.
Touch of Gray.
Comcast Spring Break, presented by Pizza My Heart, is back at the admission-free Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Come down for 3 days of sand, surf, music, and hot rides. Fun family activities every day. Meet your favorite costume characters, win prizes, play beach soccer, and strut your stuff at the kids' dance party. The Boardwalk is open daily for Spring Break starting Saturday, March 27th. Visit beachboardwalk.com for special Spring Break discounts. For accommodations, call the Hilton Santa Cruz Scotts Valley. Grab your friends and head to Comcast Spring Break April 7th through the 9th. Details at comcastspringbreak.com.
Complimentary service if we don't solve a routine problem in one visit. A $20 account credit if we're late to an appointment. And a 30-day money-back guarantee on all our services. The new Comcast Customer Guarantee. From all of us to you.
Hey, don't miss race day this Sunday, and here's why. The King, Richard Petty's on the show. Plus, Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett will welcome Jimmy Johnson to the prestigious 50 Victory Club. It's all on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Sunday, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Montoya's off the top of the board. Jeff Gordon is now the fastest car in town.
1955. They just keep bringing it on down.
Yeah, Larry, everybody's starting to get into qualifying mode now. We're running, last 20-30 minutes of practice here. You can see cars sitting on the end of pit road over there, all kind of taped up, 4 tires, ready to see what they got.
Each week this year we've talked about the little bit of a change that Goodyear has made in the tires, and as far as compound, which is really how much grip the tires have this week, it's pretty much the same as we raced in 2009. The one thing that they did do is they made a little construction change in the right side. The tires go through such an abuse here as far as heat, especially sidewall heat from the brakes. They've tried to do some things to the construction of the sidewall on the right side to help with that brake heat.
The tires here have always been pretty durable. I think about the truck racing, and Phil and Rick McCure, they know this. Some guys never change tires. 200 laps, just run all day. and still run well. And that's kind of been the history of Martinsville.
Well, Mark Martin's atop of the board now at a 19.55, just like Gordon, but he's a 5.50. Gordon's a 5.59.
It's like drag racing. 55 with an O, 55 with a 9,
right.
58 with an 8.
Krista?
I want to give you an update on Jeff Burton. He said his race car just needs it to turn a little bit better and needs rear grip. When they jumped into qualifying trim, he told Todd Barrier it really feels the same as it did in race trim.
And the thing about it, you're never going to have all the rear grip that you're looking for. You almost can't get there, especially as far as race trim, but you've got to get that thing to turn through the middle, because a lot of times when the car is shoving the nose and won't turn there, that'll almost magnify the way the car gets up off the corner.
Let's check with Dick Berggren.
With A.J. Allmendinger, who's had a good run here this afternoon. Hot Rod's awfully fast, but I'm thinking about last year, where when you started the season, you only had 8 races guaranteed. You were racing without being paid some of the time. How much happier are you now?
A lot happier. It's, you know, to have Best Buy step up in Valvoline, and we got Charter on the Ford this weekend, so really happy. Love being with Rich Petty Motorsports. Got to keep getting this thing a little bit better. Race trim, it was okay. Did our first qualifying run. It was pretty good, but we know the times are going to keep stepping up, so we'll just keep fine-tuning and hopefully get this thing up front.
This guy's got so many fans. It's just nice to see you having a good year.
Thanks, Dick. Brian Newman had a good run going at Bristol, and the second-to-last caution flag had a pit stop where something went awry, and Newman ended up toward the back of the pack. They lost about 5 seconds there on pit road on that stop, spoiling what would have been a very good day for the 39.
Yeah, we asked Ryan, you know, throw away the finishes, the box scores. Where are you guys at this year versus at this point a year ago when you were essentially a brand new race team? He said, we're quite sure we're better. It's just we're encountering some things that we really wasn't anticipating, like pit stop woes.
Well, here's one thing. He better not have any more bad days, because he's floating back toward the out of time, the top 35 there. But just now, as you can see,
top of the board, 15:53.
There aren't many of us who use a cell phone just to make phone calls. But when AT&T or Verizon offer you an unlimited plan for $69.99, that's all it's good for, phone calls. With Sprint, for the same price, you get unlimited text, unlimited web, and unlimited calling to every mobile phone in America. Now that's more like it.
$69.99 for unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile in America. Only from Sprint.
We love getting our Outback dirty, because it seems like the dirtier it gets, the more it shines.
The Subaru Outback, Motor Trend's 2010 Sport Utility of the Year.
Hurry into the Subaru Love Spring event for great deals on all models, now through March 31st.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Miracle Grow garden soil for flowers and vegetables for just $3.97.
Hey guys, get your pin on.
Well, get your pin on. Every time you wear your pin, you are supporting the NASCAR Foundation's efforts to help children live happier and healthier lives. Get your pin today at NASCAR.com/NASCAR Day or at a track near you.
I got my pin on.
Our coverage of NASCAR's weekend in Martinsville continues next here on Speed with Camping World Truck Series practice, followed by Sprint Cup Series qualifying and Camping World Truck Series qualifying. Then tomorrow, The final 2 sessions of Sprint Cup practice on Speed, followed by the Camping World Truck Series race right here at 1:30 Eastern Time. Sunday begins with NASCAR Race Day on Speed. Fox coverage of the Sprint Cup Series at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, and it all wraps up at 8 p.m. Eastern with NASCAR Victory Lane. All your NASCAR this weekend on Speed and Fox. Well, right now, Ryan Newman paces practice as Mother Nature is having her way with the racetrack. A light rain beginning to fall. All that overcast that came in included some heavy, stormy-looking clouds.
Yeah, it was getting darker and darker, but man, I don't think they were calling for any rain this afternoon.
Not this afternoon. What went through here last night was supposed to be it for a while.
Oh, man.
And that would really hurt Ryan Newman's feelings if this qualifying session later on today gets rained out, because remember, he comes in here 26th in the points, and right now he's fastest in the practice session.
No umbrellas. You can see just an occasional interval wipe of the windshield there on the safety truck, so just a little bit of a light rain.
Yeah,
hopefully this won't slow us down for too long.
This can't last very long. I think it's going to be okay.
Getting ready to reopen the track for practice. Once again, it's Newman on top. Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Montoya, and Hamlin the top 5. Allmendinger 6. Logano has moved himself up to 7th. Jamie Mack, Clint Boyer, and Scott Speed are the top 10 right now.
Boy, Larry, the tires look like they might be working pretty well, because I see a lot of, as you can see off the corner back here, that's a lot of rubber building up, a lot of pieces of the tires where they make those rubber balls and roll them up the hill there.
Marbles.
But you sure don't want to get in any of that, I can tell you, because you get that on hot tires, it's like having 4 flat tires.
Yes. But Mike, you mentioned it a while ago, and I think you said it absolutely spot on. With that one lap you get before you actually start your time lap, the biggest thing is, don't make either end of that car mad as far as the tires. Don't slide the front. Don't spin the rears. Whatever you got to do there. Jeff Gordon is notorious for even creeping around here to some degree on his first time lap,
right,
and then really going for it when he's got maximum heat in those tires on lap 2.
Nice pickup for Keselowski. He jumps to 29th from the mid-40s. And here's the dinger. 1962 is his fast lap, and he equals that. Should be quite a battle for the pole when we get to qualify later this afternoon here on Speed.
See what this lap is on AJ. Look fast.
Yeah, 59 moves him up into the top 5.
This car's really looking good.
Now, Darrell, you were talking about making the decision on what tires to go out on. I think what Tony Gibson and Ryan Newman did is they ran that 1953. I think they put a set of stickers on, went out and did not even make a full lap, went right back in the garage area just to kind of knock that shininess, knock the labels off possibly their qualifying tires.
Yeah, what happens sometime with such a low gear and so much power, if you go out on sticker tires, you hit the third turn down here, the car skates all over the place. It just will not hook up. So you knock that off of the tires before you go to qualify. It just gives you a lot more confidence as a driver when the car's under you like that.
Martin Truex just picked up to 8th place with a 1965.
And other than a road course, if there's one racetrack we go to where if the entrance messes up, you're pretty much done the entire corner at this place because they're so tight.
2P7 right there.
1962, Truex to 7th, and Marcus Ambrose jumps up into the top 10 with a 1965. It was just a couple minutes ago, Denny Hamlin was on the top of the board. He's not even in the top 5 now.
I think this will keep changing for about the next 11 or 12 minutes. Yeah,
nice
third quickest.
Car was good at Bristol. Good again this week.
So the top 5 now: Newman, Martin, Ambrose, Jeff Gordon, and Montoya.
We ride in the sun. We ride in the rain. We ride when times are good. And we ride when the economy stinks. If the world were ending tomorrow, we guarantee you we'd be on our bikes today. For those who want to ride with us, we've put up $1 billion of our own dollars to make right now the best time ever to get on a Harley. It starts at $99 a month. The Harley-Davidson Ride Easy Guarantee.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones. Cool. Aqua Velva, men get it.
Wake up your whiskers with Electric Shave. Electric Shave! Stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave.
Man, that was close.
Electric Shave. Blade close. Electric smooth.
A complimentary service if we don't solve a routine problem in one visit. A $20 account credit if we're late to an appointment. And a 30-day money-back guarantee on all our services. The new Comcast Customer Guarantee. From all of us to you.
Fast Track to Fame lets America's most unique performers cut loose each week for a chance to become a star. Catch an encore performance of Fast Track to Fame Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, and only on Speed.
Hornish on the run. Car looked pretty good getting around the bottom of the racetrack.
Sam's at 16th on the board right now.
See that left rear tire, how it gets all wrinkled up? Looks like a drag car going down through there. That's just grip, man.
You know, we've had a couple drag racing references. They're going to take a page from our book when they go to ZMAX Dragway, and they're going to run them 4 wide.
That's this weekend, right?
Should be quite a show.
It will be. That's crazy.
Sam jumps up in the top 10, 10th quickest at a 19.622.
Very nice job. Here goes the Harv.
He is 14th right now with a 65. Runs 66.
You know, teams continue to try to find places to go test because obviously the way the rules are, you can't test at a sanctioned racetrack. Talked to Gil Martin, the crew chief for Kevin Harvick this morning. They were at North Wilkesboro Speedway yesterday. The first time a Cup car has been there since 1996 when we last raced there.
Wow.
Gil said even the mayor came out to welcome them to the racetrack.
But you know what, Larry? Guys would like to have tested there before, but they wouldn't let them.
Yeah.
Couldn't get on the racetrack. So that's a pleasant change. That track, and I think the one in Nashville at the fairgrounds. I believe if you could get a car to handle at those 2 places, you could go anywhere and run good.
Running well, Clint Boyer 15th right now with a 1966.
You know, you think about the engines here, Larry. They get to down to what, about probably 48 to 5,000 RPM.
Oh, I'd say
corner.
at least, yeah.
Maybe even 4,500 in the corner. And then they've got to dig up out of that corner and hit about 9,500 at the end of the straightaway. It's a little different engine combination here than you'll probably run anywhere else. You tune the car differently. You got a little maybe different carburetor. You want that, what I like to call part throttle response, because you can't always get it wide open. So you might want to work the throttle just a little wee bit at part throttle, and that engine's got to respond when you do go ahead and push it wide open.
Jeff Gordon just ran a 62 to back up the 1955 that he had earlier.
Yeah, for the race, Darrell, you'll do a lot of things, even like what we do for road courses. Maybe instead of a 1-to-1 throttle linkage, maybe put that progressive linkage on it, like, again, we use it at a road course.
Right, that, and you'll use a little different header combination here. You can't do it now because it's kind of locked in, but we used to run smaller tailpipes here just to get good bottom end response. So when the driver was part throttle, when he did mat it, the thing would go.
Yeah, not a whole lot about top end horsepower here.
Here it's about velocity in the engine, not volume.
Mike Bliss did not qualify last week at Bristol. Trying to get the Wave Chevy back into qualifying trim, and right now he would be right at the bubble. 1998 his best lap. Robbie Gordon 1996.
That won't help you any.
One of those two would go and the other go home.
Hitting that curve, man, that's something that'll happen to you on a qualifying run. You really got to watch it. You got to be right on it, but you hit it and it'll mess up your whole lap.
Yeah, right now, Bliss, McDowell, and Pappas would be the guys in trouble if this indeed was qualifying. We only got about 5 minutes to go in this practice.
Ryan Newman, still top of the chart.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Don't miss Fast Track to Fame. Join host Michael Waltrip and Carissa Thompson as America's most unique performers cut loose each week and compete for their chance to become a star.
Are you guys ready for a good time?
It's the talent competition so wild, it could only happen trackside. It's a special encore presentation of Fast Track to Fame from Bristol Motor Speedway this Monday on Speed.
Take matters in your own hands. Keep that car running better, longer. Do everything you can to make sure a small job doesn't turn into a costly one. And AutoZone is the one place with the expertise and tools you need to do the job right the first time. Because do it yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This year I did my taxes 2 ways. I did it on my own with TurboTax, and I went into an H&R Block. They found an education credit that I missed. The tax professional told me that my refund was $2,000 more than what I had found on my own. Surprise! I was thinking, how can I miss something so big?
Taxes can be complicated, so doing taxes alone isn't for everyone. Choose the pros who have completed over 500 million returns already.
You don't know what you don't know, and that's why you go to H&R Block.
H&R Block. Get it right.
Welcome to the center of the universe. Eye of the sheet metal storm. A V8 vortex of soul-stirring thunder and blistering speed. Where pistons pound out the fury of 35,000 horses in unison with 100,000 beating hearts. A world where adrenaline is the fuel of choice. And everything else is just a game.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Ryan Newman, top of the chart with a 1953. The last time we qualified here, pole winner in October, Ryan Newman had a 1956.
Mike, now here's what can happen to you. Here's the third fastest car here, and he's coming down in the corner, and this is what you got to really, really focus hard on. If you overdrive the corner and you get your foot on those really big brakes like they run here, you'll lock the tires up and ruin your lap.
Because if you do that getting into turn 3 on lap 1, that's pretty much going to destroy lap 1 and probably lap 2.
And you know what else it destroys? It destroys your confidence. You start worrying about it. Let's see what happens here with Smoke.
And Travis Quapple in the A&W Root Beer.
Wow. I'm telling you, that's a lot of damage to that left rear quarter panel of that car.
I think there was some message being delivered there. Smoke was probably on a qualifying run, and I'd say that 34 there, Mr. Quapple, may have eased up in front of him at an inopportune time for both.
But if that indeed was what...
I'm just trying to see if we can run this car for Cole.
Tony was doing, he actually caused a lot of work for that 14 crew as well, because there's a lot of damage to the right front of that 14 car.
Tony was about a half a second faster than Travis.
You'll have that here at Martinsville.
Right.
I think we'll have plenty of that on Sunday.
All day long.
There's some more of that one I'm talking about.
Well, that's David Stremme.
Yeah, he's on a qualifying run.
And remember, he is out of the top 30. They're out of the top 35 this week. They were guaranteed in the first 5 races, 4 with Boris Said and 1 with David, and now David's trying to bring them back up.
You know, honestly, that was a good run that David Streamy had last week.
Yeah.
I know it didn't keep him in the top 35. He ran all day long, only lost 2 laps, and evidently their National Guard thought so too because they're back. Bobby Hutchins trying to calm Tony down a little bit. I'll talk, Bobby. I'm just going to talk to him.
Just want to tell him what he did wrong.
Bobby's raced for 30 years down at the Madhouse, Bowman Gray Stadium, so he knows a little bit about tempers.
That ought to be interesting, that conversation.
Yes.
Heck, and it's only Friday.
Ryan Newman wins practice over Martin, Ambrose, Gordon, and Hamlin. 1 Ford in the top 10, that's Allmendinger. And the fastest Dodge 11th, that is Hornish. Ambrose was the quickest Toyota. Well, they'll tune him up for qualifying, and we'll be back with that later on today. First, Camping World Truck Series practice. And a bit of work to be done down in the garage area.
And some splaining to be done, too.
Probably a good thing it was a long walk down there.
We're not getting into that. We're going straight across the track to Steve Burns.
Well, Mike Joy, I know where Tony Stewart is not going. He's not coming out here to the speed stage, but he definitely looks like he is on a mission. So Cup practice is in the books. Ryan Newman is the quickest, along with Mark Martin. We need to get our attention turned towards the Camping World Truck Series because they have their final practice coming up. After just 2 races in this 2010 season, Todd Bodine is your points leader. Timothy Peters, though, the local guy, just 4 points back. He will join us on NASCAR Live between 2 and 3 Eastern this afternoon. Let's go back down into the garage area. Randy Pemberton and Bob Dillner patrolling that garage for us, and we start with Bob.
Well, Steve, you know, lately you see this guy as Mr. TV personality, Hermie Sadler, but the funny thing is he's got a smile on right now, but I walked up to him just a minute ago, and Hermie Sadler is driving the number 48 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series machine here, and he had like a scowl on his face a little bit. You're a race car driver like your friend Kenny Wallace there.
Isn't that what race car drivers are supposed to look like? If you're not number 1 on the speed chart, you're not supposed to be happy, but it's been an okay day for us. We unloaded not as close as we needed to be, but we made a lot of progress. Picked up about a half a second in the first practice and trying to get ready to change some things to go back out for the for the next practice. So I'm having a good time, but I want to be competitive. By the time we race tomorrow here on speed, I want to be where we can compete and have a good finish.
So I want to know which is easier, driving one of these machines or doing what you normally do on speed now?
Depends on who I'm doing it with. Some of the guys on speed, it's easy. Some of the guys, when you get paired with them, it can be worse than driving a hill handling truck. So I'm not calling any names, but it's fun to get back at it once in a while. I mean, I love this place. I love Martinsville. I love racing, and I'm not going to get to do it very much. So like I said, when I do get a chance to get on the racetrack, I want to show well, and I also think it helps me when I will come back to speed on Sunday, talk on race day, talk about the track and what I learned during the truck race. So I want to say thanks to Joe and Megan Dennett for letting us. Giving us the opportunity to put our foundation truck on the track, and April being Autism Awareness Month, it gives us a kind of a head start on that. So a lot of neat stuff coming up for our foundation, and this is going to kick it all off for us.
Bob, hey Bob.
Yes.
Hermie said he wasn't going to point any fingers, but I'm lonely out here. He's usually right here next to me.
I know, you're usually with Steve.
I always know when it's a question coming from the stage, it's a problem. It's trouble.
Well, Steve was wondering maybe you don't like him?
Steve Burns? He's on the good side of things. Burns, you're in good shape.
You love me too?
I love you too.
All right, there you go. Well, what about Randy Pemberton? Do you like Hermie?
I don't know. I was wondering where that left me there with the Hermie thing. But anyway, we got another former speed commentator still doing that, and also in the truck here this weekend. Kenny, good to see you back in the seat. How's it feel out there?
Feels good. A little Federated Outports truck run pretty good. We worked on qualifying a little bit here, but worked on all race stuff and it felt good. So just like to run more than a couple races a year within the truck series, but it's good to be back.
What about this particular racetrack? So many laps at this racetrack. How much does it feel? How good does it feel to be able to get back here and kind of like the roots of racing, what you used to grew up racing on?
Well, I always did like this place, but I liked all those tracks. This place got so much history. I mean, the first year NASCAR ran, they raced here, so it's survived for a number of years, and they've done so much to improve the place over the year. But still, the basic track's the same, and people come out because they love it and they support it.
How good are you running, and what are your expectations this weekend?
Can I get back with you tomorrow afternoon? Yeah, we're okay.
Okay, that's Kenny Schrader, guys. Boy, he's a lot of fun on TV. Certainly been a lot of fun with us guys in the garage area for many, many years. Bob?
Well, Randy, we actually ran down here to the NASCAR Transporter for the Camping World Truck Series. Unfortunately, their weather map, they're trying to get it back up for us right now, but we have a big front coming in, and you can take a look at the clouds above us right now, and it's getting very cloudy here. The prediction is for possible showers throughout the afternoon. Unfortunately, the weather map is not coming in, but we got a front coming from the northwest coming down here, and Steve, it could present some possibility for rain a little later on.
Well, Bob, that's typical live TV. They take the screen away from you just as you go down there. But we did have rain last night. Rained hard, actually, but sunny this morning, cloudy now. Let's go back to Randy.
Well, Ricky Carmichael bolting in his truck here. Looks like rain coming here a little bit. It looks like you're anxious to get out there.
Yeah, I am. We had a little problem the first practice, so we fixed it, we think, and I really want to get out there and check it because I don't want to go cold turkey into the race. But you know, this Monster Energy Chevrolet team, Turner Motorsports, they're working hard, and we want to make one more run. I think we'll be good.
Hey, you were talking to Schrader there a few moments ago. Always fun to see a legend like that back in the truck series.
Absolutely, he's awesome. He was my boss man, and when I raced the East Series, and just a great guy. I learned a lot from him, and pretty cool to see him here, no doubt.
All right, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Randy. And we talked about the history of this place. This is the 123rd Cup race at the Martinsville Speedway here in South Central Virginia. We're almost ready to take you up for the Camping World Truck Series final practice. Meanwhile, we want to remind you, as you see those drivers strapping in, join us for trackside. Great show tonight at 7. Jeff Gordon and Jeff Burton will join the usual cast of characters. And tomorrow, the trucks race at 1:30 Eastern here on Speed. Rootin' and gouging at its finest here on the half-mile Martinsville Speedway. Stay with us when we come back. You'll see final practice for Kenny Schrader and the rest of the truckers.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper?
Oh.
Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What?
1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
Oh, Daddy.
No, Macy, I can't let you drive the old Aaron's Dream machine. It's too dangerous.
Please?
Honey, your feet won't even reach the pedals.
Oh, Daddy, I love you.
Whoa, Focus. You're only 11. You don't have a license.
But I have my own suit.
Boy, you sound an awful lot like ODW.
Your dad let you drive.
Name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers are all here at Aaron's. You don't need credit to buy or lease at Aaron's guaranteed low price. Nobody beats Aaron's.
We're still going for ice cream, right, honey?
Is racing in your blood? Do you or someone you love dream of getting behind the wheel? Think it's too hard to get started? It's not. With U.S. Legend Cars International, the fun and thrill of racing is within your reach. Anyone can do it. With over 1,500 tracks nationwide. Find the one nearest you at uslegendcars.com. It's easier than you think. Put yourself in the driver's seat. Call 888-882-8722 or go to uslegendcars.com now.
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper?
Oh.
Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What?
1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
Hey guys, get your pen on.
Well, get your pen on. Every time you wear your pin, you are supporting the NASCAR Foundation's efforts to help children live happier and healthier lives. Get your pin today at NASCAR.com/NASCAR Day or at a track near you.
I got my pin on.
Camping World Truck Series was born on the short tracks, and we're back to a short track to start off the 2010 season of short track racing. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series final practice from the Martinsville Speedway on Speed. A little overcast now. It was sunny earlier today. The temperature has actually dropped 60 degrees. and a little bit of a breeze, 11 miles an hour. But it is cloudy skies. There was actually some rain in the area during the Sprint Cup practice that just got done. The rest of the day on speed, you'll just want to leave it right here. NASCAR Live follows us. Then it's Sprint Cup qualifying, followed by the Camping World Truck Series qualifying. You'll want to watch all of that. And on trackside tonight, Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon are the guests, so you won't want to miss that either. Trucks are rolling onto the racetrack. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. Now, we've already had a practice earlier. There are 39 trucks here, and 9 of those are wanting to make their first ever Camping World Truck Series start. It's a little bit difficult coming to a racetrack like this, isn't it, Michael?
Oh, they'll find that for sure when they go to qualify. This practice, they get all warmed up and they're able to run some pretty good laps. They go out on those cold tires on speed when we go qualifying and the truck's sliding everywhere. They're going to promise their crew that somebody put a different truck under them. It won't feel anywhere near the same for sure.
That's the nice thing about this racetrack, though, is because they exit turn 2, leaving the pits, they actually give them a warm-up lap. So that's enough time to maybe get a little bit of a feel and also to, get their tires heated up a little bit.
Here's a surprise. Kevin Harvick was the fastest truck on the racetrack. He has been dominant as of late.
And, oh, by the way, another brand new truck out of the KHI stables.
But the biggest surprise to me on that list is look down in 9th place, Clay Greenfield. You said, Phil, we got 9 guys attempting to make their first NASCAR Camping World Truck start here this weekend. And the crazy thing about that is I think I know a lot about the NASCAR car world. Pay attention to what's going on in the Camping World East Series, the K&N Filter cars, Nationwide Series, you name it, I watch it. 5 of those guys I never heard of. Where'd they come from and how did they get here? And we'll talk about that during this practice.
One guy who really made a name for himself the last time we raced here was Timothy Peters, winning the fall race here at Martinsville. Let's go down trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. Certainly no surprise to see the number 17 at the top of practice list. He was second fast this morning. They just put a new set of tires on that number 17 truck. And yes, it's the exact same truck that he used to win with a year ago here today. We'll have 4 sets of tires to use for the weekend here, but when we go racing tomorrow, expect the teams to start with the tires that they qualify on and only come to the pits 1 time. So that means they got 2 sets for today's practices. Adam?
And Ray, it was Timothy Peters who won this race in the fall. Kevin Harvick won here 1 year ago. It's one of 5 victories in his last 9 Truck Series starts. He has been on a roll, no doubt about it. Rick mentioned the fact that he was quickest in that opening practice of the weekend earlier today, but he's not satisfied. Coach Hilton said, my driver is in the mood to practice, so the crew chief is ready to go to work. Watch Harvick make even more progress here during the Truck Series final practice at Martinsville.
Thanks, Adam. Thank you, Ray. And watch your voices down there. That's one of the other things about short track racing. Everybody is right on top of you, and you got to shout if you want anybody to hear you on pit road.
Yeah, right in somebody's ear you have to shout. And it doesn't matter whether it's a Camping World Truck Series truck or a Sprint Cup car. Once these guys get on the racetrack, you can absolutely not hear anything in the entire infield. How about the average finish for Harvick in the last 9 races?
It's been ridiculous.
2.0.
2.0. In the last 9 races, Kevin Harvick has not finished outside the top 5.
Look at these two mixing it up early, Phil. You see them racing hard here in this final practice, trying to get a feel for what things might be like in those trucks when all of them are out there together when we race tomorrow afternoon.
And there's just a little bit of history, too, between that 33 truck of Hornaday and the 88 of Crafton.
Now, can we foreshadow Ron Hornaday's season because of the fact that he's had 2 bad races to start the season off? He really can't afford to have a bad race, and one of those could happen right here at Martinsville, where it's almost common for that to happen.
This place is just like Talladega, Phil. You never, whoa, what happened there? You get in the back of that guy?
Yeah, he ran in the back of that 76 truck right there.
Maybe there's a sense of desperation from Ron Hornaday. They know they got to get things done this weekend, Ray.
And Michael, I was telling you about the new tires on the 17. Well, check this out. 2 quick laps on the racetrack, and those stickers are already back off. They're putting the old tires that they used in practice earlier today back on. So they wanted to just get a couple laps on these to know that they're scuffs, and that way Timothy gets a feel for them. There's a chance that they'll scuff another set yet today too, but going back to the old tires that they used this morning. Adam?
And Ray, I talked to Butch Hilton before this practice session, crew chief for Kevin Harvick, and he talked about tire management and how critical it is at a place like Martinsville. They did not change tires in that opening practice session, so they are on that same set of tires that they put more than 50 laps on earlier this morning. They said they will scuff 1 set for tomorrow's race, but you have to be really careful how you utilize tires tires. Only 4 sets for the entire weekend, including the 2 practice sessions here today.
You know, guys, Ray talked about the fact that they probably would only use 2 sets of tires for the race, the set they start on and then the set that they will change during the race. But it's nice to have that other set laid up in there in case you spin, in case you cut one down. Ron Hornaday spun out in the first practice session, and we were talking to Wayne Auten, series director, and they will not replace those tires. Watch this little situation with Brian Johnson Jr. Ron thought he was going to go to the top of the racetrack, didn't leave him quite enough room, made a bit of contact right there. There's another view right.
And that's
nice save by Brian Johnson Jr.
That's a situation where his spotter has to say, looking inside, right? I mean, Ron Hornaday's looking inside.
Ron came in a hurry, though. Brian's probably thinking, I got room. His spotter, all these guys are probably a little bit new to what's going on. So Brian thought he would take that corner, and Ron tried to get off of him. You saw the brakes locked down, so Ron tried to get off of him, but by getting on the brakes and having them locked down, Phil, that slid him right over into Johnson.
Yeah, it made it worse, didn't it?
How about this list of names? New guys in the Camping World Truck Series looking to make their first ever starts here at Martinsville Speedway. The final practice is underway. Make sure to stay right here at Speed because there is plenty to watch. NASCAR Live follows us. We've got a couple qualifying shows and then trackside later on this evening.
Saturday, the world's toughest trucks march into Martinsville, and we're there as the action gets tight and metal is crushed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, live from Martinsville, Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Catch a special encore presentation of America's Wildest Talent Show, Fast Track to Fame, this Monday on Speed.
We're for weekend projects that start out in your garage, but end up being seen by just about everybody. Yeah. We're for people who know their stuff and stick with it when things don't go as expected. We're for a toolbox that contains every tool imaginable and guys who can use them all. We're for Joey Logano and that number 20 team. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
I have a family. I care about safety. You want to make sure your next car is safe? Go to VX.com. They've got these crash test videos, 500 of them, from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. They have front impact collisions, side impact collisions. You can see the ratings of how each car performs. Make sure your next car is safe. Go to VX.com.
Watch crash test videos and find the safest car for you at VX.com, your online resource to find your ride. Now search local dealer inventories on VX right from your mobile phone.
Come drive the sporty and efficient Ford Focus at Bill Brandt Ford in Brentwood. Bill Brandt Ford's got mad deals for March on all our Focuses, and we have a great selection to choose from. Get $3,000 customer cash or 0% financing for 60 months on all 2010 Ford Focuses. Drive one and experience the comfort, style, and class-exclusive technologies offered only on Ford vehicles. Great deals on America's brand Ford are waiting at your hometown dealer. Bill Brandt Ford in Brentwood. Drive one.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series practice from Martinsville is brought to you by Camping World. Visit Camping World RV Sales and check out the Freedom Elite Motorhome starting at only $49,995. And by the Sponsifier. Visit ToyotaRacing.com. Click on Design It, Enter it. Take a look at our Sponsifier track description of Martinsville Speedway.
Very, very unique. Probably the only one of these in the world, I would say.
You're exactly right.
They call it the paperclip. You can see the straightaway is 800 feet long. It's a very, very concentric racetrack, but probably use no more brake anywhere else than you do here at Martinsville.
Well, what makes it so difficult, Phil, is we ride down the straightaway here with Jason White. He's pulling into the pits. He's not the guy I wanted to be riding with right at the moment. When you dive down in the corner like Timothy Peters is doing right there, you're loading up the front of that truck so hard. You have to brake so hard to make these tight, short, flat turns that you just put all the pressure of the truck right on those front 2 tires.
Look at the black marks where people have locked up those front tires when they slam on the brakes.
And what's important is to get off of those brakes as soon as you can. Does that make sense? You want to slam on the brakes, get on them as hard as you can, then get away from them as soon as you can so you can unload the front of that truck. It'll work like it's supposed to down in the center of the corner, and you can head back the other direction.
If you're on the brakes, the truck will not turn.
Because it doesn't have anything to rebound into. You know, you've got it all locked down, it's tied down, it's going to want to go straight.
And we saw that with Hornaday. We saw that when he got on the brakes harder to try to avoid Brian Johnson Jr., then his truck actually slid to the right.
And that happens even if the tires aren't sliding. When the brakes are applied and they're getting all the braking they can, the truck's wanting to go out to the right. So what these drivers will do is get on the brakes hard and aggressively, roll off of them, make the turn, and then that challenge of entering the corner that we just talked about, how difficult it is, replay all that, because it's getting ready to get equally as difficult trying to get all that power these trucks have under the hood to those skinny rear tires and accelerate straight up out of that hole too.
Adam Alexander.
And in the opening laps of this practice session, Rick, Ron Hornaday, our defending series champion, made some contact on track with Brian Johnson Jr. It was in the right front. Hornaday came in, asked his crew to check the right front. They did. A little bit of a wrinkle, nothing to be concerned about. You can see the replay of where the contact came right here. So they got the wrinkle out of the right front. Hornaday said the truck is very, very good. They made a couple of minor changes. Doug George, the crew chief, said, if you can go out and give me a handful of laps on these tires and deal with it, I'd like to get a read on fuel mileage. Then we're going to come in, put on some sticker tires, do a fuel run, and we will be finished. Ray?
Adam, when the entry list came out for this race, Kyle Busch was entered in the number 18 in one of his very own trucks. Of course, Kyle an owner full-time this season in Camping World Trucks, but he made a decision to switch out drivers. Brian Eichler will be driving the number 18 this weekend here at Martinsville for two reasons. Number one, Kyle landed a big sponsorship, and they wanted him to drive at Nashville next week. That was not on his original schedule, and Brian was going to drive there, so they decided to make this swap this week. The other reason is the fact that Brian had already tested this particular truck at two different short tracks, so they felt like he's got a good handle on the truck. They put him behind the wheel, and Kyle is down here to give him a little bit of extra encouragement.
Thanks, Ray. I want to go back and kind of ties in with the Kyle Busch story here, but Adam had mentioned that there was a little contact between Ron Hornaday and another truck, and the guys on the crew said nothing to worry about. Well, the last thing that's in Ron Hornaday's mind is a little contact at the beginning of a race in Atlanta that ended up slamming him into the wall. So I'm sure that any contact right now is something to worry about with Ron Hornaday.
Well, just anything out of the ordinary, Rick. The first two races this year have been way out of the ordinary for that 33 team. They're used to finishing in the top five, getting up there in the points and racing for a championship. Right now, they're looking up from a hole that I'm not sure they're going to be able to dig out of. It's going to be definitely difficult, so they just want things to go smoothly. And when I talked earlier about this place being like Talladega, you say, Mike, Talladega is the biggest track, this is a little one. But things crazy happen at Talladega because of the draft and the big packs. Same thing at Martinsville. You're all jammed in here in very tight quarters. Crazy things can happen here.
And remember, Ron Hornaday was leading and ran out of fuel a couple years ago here with 2 or 3 laps to go.
Yeah, he and his, truck owner, Kevin Harvick. Fastest in this final practice, Timothy Peters, David Starr, Kevin Harvick, Justin Lofton, and Mike Skinner, your top 5.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day marches into Martinsville, where Jimmy Johnson joins us live as we honor his 50th career win. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live Sunday at 10 Eastern.
Only on speed.
Well, we wanted to do something for our fans.
I want Kyle Busch in a pink car in a pink suit.
And now, they get to be our sponsors.
This has always been artistic.
And she loves those cats.
Who doesn't like kittens, bunnies, and little baby seals?
I love you.
No, thank you, sweetheart.
No, write that on the spoiler.
Okay.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Hey, Chief. This is how you relax? After the week you had?
Why are you in my yard?
'Cause I'm helping you see the light. You need some fun. I packed your skimpies. I got affordable hotels everywhere. Want to go to a dude ranch?
Okay.
We could hang glide. We could pet a pony.
Sure.
Man, there's all sorts of super destinations. You just gotta go. I got low rates.
feet. With ZigTech, I get more train, less pain.
The NASCAR experience live. Everything else is just a game.
Tonight on Speed, Jeff Burton and four-time Cup champion Jeff Gordon stop by the Ultimate Friday House Party. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside from Martinsville tonight. That starts at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
What a great lineup today on Speed. This practice session here for the Camping World Truck Series. Sprint Cup qualifying is going to follow us, and then right into Camping World Truck Series qualifying.
We don't want you to get out of touch with the Camping World Truck Series. That's why we've got final practice today as well as qualifying.
That's a three-time winner right there, Mike Skinner here at Martinsville.
There are two three-time winners in the field.
I don't know what you did there. Could you share it with me?
And is there any way you could do more of it? I think. I think I like that pretty good.
I think he's talking to Gene Need right now.
That's exactly who he's talking to.
Share it with me as to what you did. You mentioned he's a three-time winner, as well as Dennis Setzer, who's in the field, a three-time winner. And here's Patty Rodenbeck.
Phil, don't you love this? You got Patty Rodenbeck up in the 7th place. We got
Clay Greenfield
in 7th. Okay, Patty's in 13th. There's a bunch of guys in this race that I guarantee you Kenny Schrader down there in his truck saying,
Who's that?
Who are all these people? and could you explain to me how they could possibly be faster than me? These names are just amazing. You got Narain Katakaria from India. Roddy, how'd I do? Did I get close?
You were close.
That was close.
Lance Fenton.
Katakayan.
Dale Brackett. Tony Jackson Jr. There's just so many new faces, and I think that's what Martinsville does.
Problem in turn number 2, it looks
Lance Fenton.
Lance Fenton in that 95.
That's one of the new faces we talked about, and that's what I love about Martinsville. People believe this is a great place to come get their legs up under them, understand what it's like to race a truck, and then find out what it's like to race a truck with the best in the whole world.
You know, and another thing, there's a very, very extensive process to be approved to run either one of the top 3 series in NASCAR, and basically they want you to start on a short track. Obviously Martinsville, and I think that's why we see a lot of these guys, because they may not have the previous credentials to be approved to go to a Texas or a Kansas, so they need to start on a short track. I think that's also why we see a lot of drivers come here to try to maybe take the next step and then be approved to go to Kansas maybe or Nashville next week.
Not only do they come here and they run fast. We got Greenfield up in the top 10, Rodenbach 13th, so there's a lot of fast guys that are getting some attention here.
Adam Alexander, what have you got down there?
I've got a question for Phil and Michael. How well do you guys remember your first start here at Martinsville?
I remember mine, Adam.
I remember mine.
Okay.
I remember that it was brief. It was a nice start. It wasn't much. I wasn't around at the finish.
I finished 10th here. It was a late model race at the time. That was just prior to the Busch Series being formed, Nationwide Series now.
Maybe I did finish. I think I finished 13th, and I remember that day vividly now that you talk about it. Why, Adam?
Well, we talk about so many drivers participating this weekend who are in Martinsville for the first time, one of those being Rookie of the Year contender Justin Lofton. I just leaned into his window a moment ago and said, what's this place remind you of? And he said, no place I've ever been. Then I went over and talked to his crew chief, Mark Rett, and said, how many changes did you make from practice 1 to final practice? And he said a lot, but you know what helped him the most? Watching Cup practice. He wandered around to the 4 corners of this racetrack and watched where the drivers were lifting and then where they were getting back to the gas off the corner. Sometimes you can feel it out yourself. Sometimes you have to watch the veterans get it done, and it's been a nice little bit of both for Justin Lofton in his first start here at Martinsville, right?
And of course, Adam, coming to a short like this for the first time, you get a little bit of butterflies, but Clay Greenfield got a chance to test at Motor Mile, and I know you guys learned quite a bit. You must have learned something because you've been fast all day today.
Yeah, we had a really good test at Motor Mile, and I didn't know what to expect because it was my first time in a truck, but it really feels comfortable to me. And hopefully, I hope it doesn't rain out qualifying because I think we can make a good lap.
Tell the fans a little bit about your racing background.
I'm from Clarksville, Tennessee. I raced at the Nashville Fairgrounds for 5 or 6 years, and we've been racing in the UARA series the past 3 years. And I have one ARCA start at Salem. I finished 12th, but this is my first time in a truck.
Well, you're doing very well. Have a good time. And guys, he said, I sure hope we get a shot to qualify because we got an awfully fast truck.
Yeah, the only question would be a little bit of precipitation that we saw even on that camera lens, and they saw a little bit of it during the Cup practice earlier. But it is held off, and we hope that it holds off for the rest of the afternoon.
How about Ricky Carmichael down in Atlanta, Phil? Runs, it's a great finish, and what a perfect weekend for him to get that solid run and that great finish, because then he eased down to Daytona and got to get patted on the back all night by his motorcycle buddies.
That's right. Had a great time down there. We're going to learn more about that on the setup show.
Ricky Carmichael had Ricky Carmichael U, where he taught a bunch of people, well, how to ride a motorcycle. Ricky Carmichael 101.
The setup comes on tomorrow at 1:30, guys.
We'll want to be there to
check out the Ricky Carmichael story.
Yep.
It was maybe a career day for Ricky in Atlanta. You know, he was able to fight and gain ground all day long. Had a great finish. There he is.
You want to give it a shot? It's
Narain.
I'm going to give you the first name.
Karthikeyan.
Karthikeyan. You're getting close.
Karthikeyan.
I sound like Larry McReynolds trying to say.
It's Karthikeyan. Karthikeyan.
Yep.
Is he kin to the Kardashians?
No, it's not.
I thought you were going to say Kruzewski there for a second.
But impressive credentials he brings here to the Camping World Truck Series. Some F1 experience.
He's from India, and he will be, he will be the first ever Indian to start a NASCAR race.
Yeah, he's locked into the field.
He's locked into the field with the 60.
One of the 22 trucks that are locked in this field.
Narain is one of the top 5 most popular athletes in India.
I knew he was very, very popular over there. I heard it coined the Michael Jordan of India. I said, does he play basketball too?
Name the other 4, Phil.
I don't have.
You know what? After he gave me the Atlas V rocket, I'm not putting anything past him anymore. Yeah.
But Narain's just trying to figure this out. This is a whole different world.
I don't know the names of the other top 5, but the number 1 guy is the Babe Ruth of cricket over in India. The number 1 most popular athlete in India. You probably couldn't pronounce his name either, but
I think we're doing.
I can pronounce Babe Ruth though.
Okay,
he was a baseball player.
Let's move on. I think we should go to break.
He's
just get out of here.
Quick. In his
get as far from here as we can.
Run. 20 laps in this session for Narain. Timothy Peters, second quick. Kevin Harvick is the fastest. Both of those have run just over 14 laps.
Let's see if this seafood place can match the value of Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. I'd like the crab cakes and throw in chowder, salmon, and shrimp, all for around $10.
No.
$10.
The bird says no.
You're joking, right? Funny guy! No other place can match Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. It's Hawaiian coconut shrimp, Maryland-style crab cakes, new tilapia Florentine, and more. It's part of our endless dinner buffet, and it's all for around $10. Now that's quite a catch. Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Can I eat heart healthy without giving up taste? A man can only try. And try.
I heard eating whole grain oats can help lower my cholesterol. It's gonna be tough. So tough.
My wife and I want to lower our cholesterol, but finding healthy food that tastes good is torturous.
Your father's suffering.
Honey Nut Cheerios taste great and can help lower cholesterol.
Be happy. Be healthy.
Try new chocolate Cheerios with a touch of delicious chocolate taste in every bite.
So what do we think of this week's book?
Insightful. It was good.
It was long and touching. It's long. It's sensitive. Sensitive. It's touching. It's sensitive.
Talk about sensitive. You guys should read this. Gillette Fusion. 5 blades, proven performance, even on sensitive skin. Gets you right here, doesn't it? Join us in the Gillette 500. Going around the country trying to shave 500 miles of guys' faces. Let's go.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
Speed Fanatics purchase a Speed Grub and Rub at Martinsville Ticket Package. and receive a reserved front stretch ticket to both Saturday and Sunday races, plus an all-you-can-eat trackside breakfast on Saturday with select NASCAR drivers and us, the Speed on-air personalities, all for just $99. All you have to do, visit speedtv.com, keyword promo for more information, or you can call 877-RACE-TICKETS.
You see, we saw for just a moment Todd Bodine out there never won a short track truck race.
I can't believe that.
He's had 7 second place finishes on short tracks, but never quite got to victory lane. And he's won a bunch of times here. He's a former champion, and he's won 17 times in the series, but never on a short track.
And he's the king of the mile and a half. He wins those over and over. And Daytona, I've never seen anything quite like him on those plate races. But you know, he grew up so far away from Daytona and Talladega. I mean, upstate New York, racing on tracks a whole lot like this, but yet he's never been able to win. Right.
We talked about the possibility of precipitation, and that's bringing out the red flag right now. A little bit of precipitation on the racetrack, and so the officials have said, let's. It is raining. I believe that's precipitation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you were saying, Todd, well, what about Ron Hornaday? 45 wins in this series, the most of any driver, and yet he has never won at Martinsville.
But he has won 20 times on the short track series, the most of anybody. But you're right, never here at Martinsville.
We told you this place was unique.
Very unique.
Even though he's won it 20 races on short tracks, he's never been able to figure out Martinsville.
And he's second quickest right now in this practice session to his teammate and truck owner, Kevin Harvick.
Series director Wayne Otten out checking with some of the teams. Like we mentioned, rain has brought out a red flag condition for this, the final practice, the Kroger 250.
A lot has changed in how you make a vehicle go fast over the years. But one thing hasn't changed: Sunoco's proven performance. Today we continue to focus on quality and performance and are proud to fuel champions in just about anything that races. Sunoco, the official fuel of NASCAR, Grand Am, AMA Pro Racing, the SCCA, and fuel provider to 40 other racing series. Every week, every race, every win.
This isn't going to be just any flu season, and expectant mothers, children, and young adults are especially at risk for the H1N1 flu virus. So let's join together and fight the flu. By getting your flu vaccine, you'll protect yourself and help prevent the spread of the flu. Flu vaccines are safe and are the most effective way to prevent the flu. Get the facts at flu.gov.
Together, we can all fight the flu.
Hello. Since the installation of Comcast Digital Voice Unlimited, I've gotten better. Now I'm rated #1 in call clarity, with online voicemail and unlimited nationwide calling. But don't worry, you're still smarter than me. For now.
Make your home phone a smarter phone. Add Comcast Digital Voice Unlimited and enjoy unlimited nationwide calling and a dozen popular features, including call waiting and caller ID, for $19.99 a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-COMCAST.
Speed's presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series practice from Martinsville is brought to you by Chamberlain Garage Door Openers, featuring ever-charged standby power, the openers that work even when the power is out. By Honey Nut Cheerios, be happy, be healthy. And by GameStop. Don't miss tons of great deals at the huge game day sale going on now at GameStop.
Don't you love it how we're laughing and carrying on during the break, and then all of a sudden Rick breaks into that TV voice?
Garage Doors brought to you by Chamberlain.
Rain stop is what's taking place right now at Martinsville Speedway.
It's like no rain.
No rain.
These teams have got a chance here, Phil, with it being quiet, to really break down their truck. The driver and the crew chief mechanic, they'll sit there and talk about what that truck's actually doing, and if they can get another run on it, maybe make an adjustment and get after them. But, you know, the start of this practice might have been the most important practice of the weekend, because they had that practice this morning, had a chance to analyze where they were as a team, maybe regroup, make some small changes, and start that practice just like they probably hoped that they would start the race tomorrow.
And they've got some more rubber on the racetrack, too, after an hour-and-a-half Sprint Cup practice. And I know a lot of the drivers and crew chiefs in the garage here were saying they really wanted to concentrate on this practice session because of the additional rubber put down by the Cup cars.
So what they did, they hoped when this practice started for here on Speed that their trucks would be right, and then they could just say, okay, that's a good setup, we're ready to race tomorrow. But generally, the more you run, the more you learn, the more you want to try. And so now during this break, teams are probably saying, okay, do we indeed have what we want, or do we need to tweak it and change it?
maybe Ray Dunlap can answer that question.
Well, Rick, right along those same lines, everybody was thinking that the track would be different, but also many crew chiefs down here thinking that it'll be a little different tomorrow. The temperature is supposed to be somewhat similar to what we have today, but much sunnier. Today, cloudy and overcast and a chance of rain. But tomorrow, they're expecting bright sunshine. So Cowboy Starlin down here, who is going to be crew chief and for Johnny Benson, said, we want to make a track bar change to see what you think of that so that we're ready for tomorrow's changing conditions. Now, what they've done right now is put sticker tires on JB's truck because everybody down here wanting to cool down the engines and try to get a mock qualifying run in. Obviously, it's so important to start up front here at Martinsville, so qualifying later this afternoon, very, very important.
You know, Michael, we were talking about, you know, the guys wanting to be right as close as they could be to right when this practice started. And Ray mentioned at the very beginning of our practice session here, it's probably only going to be one pit stop. So they're going to only have a chance to make one change. So they want to try to see, maybe as Cowboy's going to do, change the track bar now so we see, hey, is that the change we want to make if the truck does a certain thing in this race?
I think it'll be interesting to hear from a guy who is trying to make his first ever start in this series, and he's standing by with Adam Alexander. Narain.
As if this track isn't tough enough, Rick, Narain Karthikeyan making his first ever NASCAR start this weekend at Martinsville. And Narain, how has it gone so far?
Yeah, like you said, it's a really tough track, and you know, I knew it's going to be hard, but certainly proving that to be really hard. But I'm getting into the groove. We tested a very little bit in the track, about 70 miles, so. Taking a little bit longer than what I thought it would, but I'm enjoying it. That's the important thing. It's a nice little track, pretty technical, but we'll get to it for sure.
Any big surprises for you as you make this quest into NASCAR?
Yeah, too many surprises. So, I mean, the car and everything is so different to what I'm used to. So it's going to take a while, but I'm here for the long term, and I'm ready to learn. And if I have to start from scratch, I will. So, I want to be successful at it, and, we will see what happens.
You mentioned you're here for the long term. What are your plans throughout 2010?
Well, we're going to do as many races as possible with Star Beast Motorsport and Weiler Racing, but it depends on the team boss, Miguel, what he wants to do, but we will run a minimum of 10 races at least, and then see what happens.
Good to have you here. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Narain Karthikeyan making his NASCAR debut this weekend here at Martinsville, an unenviable task for many.
I like that seat he's got going on there too.
The joy of racing.
Yeah, Randy builds some of the safest seats.
The joy of seating.
The joy of seating.
Some of the safest seats in NASCAR, and his son Corey won an exciting modified race the other night in Atlanta. So, Randy, good job on both fronts.
He's also going to race at Greenville this weekend in the K&N Pro Series East Division opener.
You'll be there, won't you?
I will be doing. You'll think I was there anyway.
Zach Germain is also going to be making his
Ryan Truex will be in an MWR car.
Begin defending I'll just stop right there.
They're covering up some of the trucks. That means the rain is coming down harder.
I was going to say begin defending.
At Camping World, we've made a family vacation more affordable than ever. You don't have to own a camper to shop at Camping World. We now rent RVs. We make it easy, and more importantly, we make it affordable.
Camping World Rental Centers offer clean, well-maintained RVs featuring Sleep Number beds, convenience packages to equip your rental with all the comforts of home, one-way and round-trip rentals with pickup and drop-off locations nationwide, plus 24-hour roadside assistance. Call 877-CW-RENTS to make your reservation today.
Hey, Chief, this is how you relax? After the week you had?
Why are you in my yard?
'Cause I'm helping you see the light. You need some fun. I packed your skimpies. I got affordable hotels everywhere. Wanna go to a dude ranch?
Okay.
We could hang glide. We could pet a pony.
Sure.
Man, there's all sorts of super destinations. You just gotta go. I got low rates.
I love my sponsor, Aaron's. After a tough day at the track, David and I race into an Aaron's store. And just relax. You comfy, Rudy?
He's had a long day.
Race into errands for the guaranteed low price on name brand furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers. Flexible lease to own plans, and you don't need credit. Nobody beats errands.
This for sale?
You thinking about buying or leasing?
You may not think about Chamberlain garage door openers, how reliably they perform, how they open your day. The nice thing is, you really don't need to pay much attention. Chamberlain's there, providing convenience, safety, and security. Like EverCharge standby power. Now, your garage door opener works even when your power is out. It's important because no matter where life takes you, your destination is always home.
You're welcome home.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Well, introducing Fast Track to Fame. Our friend and host Michael Waltrip and Carissa Thompson, as America's most unique performs, cut loose each week and compete for their chance to become a star. It's the talent competition so wild it could only happen trackside. Again, that's Fast Track to Fame, Monday on Speed. Mikey, you've seen some fairly talented people over the past couple weeks.
It's been fun. Those cloggers down in Atlanta were amazing. Those guys could dance, do stuff I wouldn't even try to do.
How about the chainsaw juggler?
You wouldn't believe that. I mean, I stood right by him while he was doing that, and the muscles it took for him to. And they said, "How do you tell if someone's a good chainsaw juggler?" I said, "Well, you had both his arms still,
and all his fingers,
and all of his fingers were still there. So obviously, he knew what he was doing."
You see the rain on the lens of our camera. Hopefully, Ray and Timothy are under a tent somewhere, right?
We are down on pit road, Rick, and you know it's amazing. The win here at Martinsville was a year ago for you. We talked a little bit earlier. You said, "I cover that thing up. You're ready to go race." Is it really that good?
We think so. Jeff Hensley and all the guys on this Red Horse Racing Toyota Tundra is give me a good piece for this weekend. We knew that the balance would be just a little bit different because the Cup cars hadn't had a chance to practice yet. So we're really trying to tune in on it. Hopefully we can go 2 for 2. But, I love coming back to Martinsville. Close to home. Got a lot of great people helping me. Strutmasters.com is back on board this weekend. Crescent Tools, Wall Street Window, and AutosByNelson.com. So got a lot of good support up here. And I hate it's raining, but hopefully we'll get it in, get a good qualifying position, and be there at the end.
What have you been doing with your time off?
Just playing around a little bit. We had a chance to go to Darlington and do the Goodyear tire test. We went to Motor Mile last Tuesday and prepared for coming up here. So I've been busy. I'm glad that I've been able to be in the truck the weeks that we've been off. It's helped me out a lot, but just chomping at the bit to get to go. But when I get to June, it's going to be wide open, right?
I'll tell you, that Darlington race, I'm so excited about going back there. We have had some incredible competition at that racetrack. Did you get to go side by side with guys, or was it just you on the racetrack alone?
No, it was myself and Eric Amarola, and there was 3 Cup cars there. So, it was definitely an experience. I've been there before to watch a race, but never actually driven on it. So, got my confidence up. Told Jeff I was going to try to give me a little bit more, and you know what, I got my Darlington stripe. So hopefully all that's out of the way and we can go back and contend for the win.
All right, we wish you good luck, and make sure you tune into the setup show tomorrow. We're going to have a real good story with Timothy. Adam?
And when we hit the air tomorrow, Todd Bodine will be our point leader after 2 races complete in 2010. So how are you being out front here today at Martinsville?
Well, we struggled a little bit in the beginning. The first practice really bad, but this is a little bit different right side tire than what we've had here in the past, and I think it threw everybody for a curve, threw us for a curve. But we made some changes at the brake, and right there on the old tires, it was pretty good, pretty decent times, really consistent, and we put our stickers on to go out and run, but unfortunately we didn't have them grooved up for the rain, so it was a little slick. But I think our Germain.com Toyota is going to be decent.
You got a championship in the Truck Series, numerous trips to victory lane, but none on a short track. Several times a runner-up finisher. So how frustrating has this place been for you?
It's really frustrating. Everybody keeps talking about that. How we're so dominant on mile and a half, how we run so good, and we don't run good on short tracks. Well, we have run well on short tracks. We just don't have a win. Martinsville, I've been coming here for probably 30 years or something like that, since I was 9 years old. So a long time. I grew up coming here and watched Jeff and Brett win a lot of races here, and I think it's time that I get me a clock.
Do they rub it in that they've won here and you haven't?
Not really. It's, they're kind of rooting for me to do it. We'd be the only 3 brothers to ever win here, and it'd be pretty neat to do it.
What's the balance of performance and having a good truck here versus the right strategy to win the race?
Well, you definitely got to have strategy, but this tire that Goodyear brought is wearing out. I think you're going to see a lot of strategy, and it's not going to be like we've seen in the past where you pit as early as you can make it on fuel and you go the rest of the way on tires. These right sides are wearing out. I wouldn't be surprised if you see guys change tires twice, and not only once but twice, because they do drop off, they wear out. So strategy of when you put those tires on, how far do you go, how far do you push it, that's going to be really interesting.
Thanks, Todd.
Okay.
This final practice was scheduled to go till 2 o'clock. That's just about 10 minutes from now. NASCAR has said, sorry guys, you won't be back out on the racetrack. So all the practice that you have up to this point is all you're going to get before qualifying later on this afternoon. And again, Cup qualifying also taking place later. So we hope the rains move out of the way and the track dries.
Where do NASCAR's future stars get their start? With U.S. Legend Cars International. On over 1,500 sanctioned tracks in 16 countries, people just like you are trading paint and enjoying the thrill of the race.
Every lap's out of control, and the Legend car teaches you so much.
I've always wanted to be a racer and go pro, and now I've got the chance to do it right here, right now.
Put yourself in the driver's seat. Call 888-882-8722 or go to uslegendcars.com now.
Roberts shot all 10 girls and then took his own life.
One woman dealing with tragedy and another dealing with guilt.
Mary Beth is dead because of her husband.
Based on a true story about tragedy and the struggle to forgive. Amish Grace premieres Sunday, March 28th at 8, only on Lifetime Movie Network.
With a mix of on-air, online, and on-demand, Comcast Spotlight can target customers wherever they are. To make your presence felt, call or visit us online.
A complimentary service if we don't solve a routine problem in one visit. A $20 account credit if we're late to an appointment. And a 30-day money-back guarantee on all our services. The new Comcast Customer Guarantee. From all of us to you.
Speed presentation of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series practice from Martinsville is brought to you by Camping World. The Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. We're offering more prizes and more chances to win this year. Log on to campingworld.com and enter today. Again, rain in the area has stopped this final practice for the Camping World Truck Series, and hopefully some of those people out there in the tents are dry.
Specifically at this racetrack.
Specifically at this very track, as you see the jet dryers out on the racetrack drying that. Now, how are we doing in the Fantasy Racing Cup edition? And I think we've done fairly well from the truck side. We're 5th right now in the standings. Kyle Petty, seriously.
We know we're going to beat him.
Yeah.
We took care of him in Rutledge in the NASCAR Smart, so we know we're going to beat him out.
Twice.
Yeah, twice we've taken
I've got us covered this weekend, guys.
You're going to take the picks?
I got some good picks for us this weekend.
All right. And I know that Adam, as a trader, went over to the Race Hub team, so
Krista,
he's helping them out a
as
little
well,
bit.
right?
Yeah, they're helping out the Hub team a little bit.
So we definitely want to beat them.
Yeah, I know we're doing a lot better than trackside John Roberts and Kenny Wallace, so we're definitely working that out. And as you mentioned, Kyle Petty, he's only as good as Rutledge Wood, and you guys showed exactly how good those two are together.
It's a long season here. We'll be moving up the board there.
All you have to do to join in is go to speedfantasyracing.com. And now let's head back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I just want to let you know I made the picks for us for the truck team last week at Bristol. I got us 2 top 5s and a 30th, so that's sort of the way that deal goes. Rick Crawford, you've been fast here at Martinsville. How good's your race truck?
In first practice, it was pretty good. I think we ended up third quick, and then second practice, I think right now we're ninth, but I think this practice is over. So it's just a matter of giving the truck what you're looking for. And it's a good, fast race truck. It's going to be good here tomorrow, and I appreciate NASCAR and all the fans and Speed for tuning in tomorrow afternoon. We'll be in good shape.
At the top of the show, I said everybody's going to use up some tires here because you only need to keep one good set for tomorrow. And Todd Bodine just said that he thinks I'm crazy that you might want to change 2 sets of tires tomorrow. Have you guys thought about that yet?
Yeah, we've looked at the wear, but every concrete corner track we go to eats up the first set of tires. And the story of the race is it slows down a little bit during the race. It could go either way though, Ray. I've looked at it. I've looked at our tire wear from the first practice, and I've seen some, and it's almost like, in order to keep a good fast truck all day, you need to get new shoes on it. And so I can see where he's thinking that, but on the other hand, races have been won here with that one set of tires.
Real quick, are we going to see you at Nashville next week?
I'm going to do my best. It's up to the Mitchell family, and they brought me to 325. So that's here this weekend, and it's all about them and the fans, and like I say, NASCAR and Speed Channel, and it's just been a great ride for me. But here this weekend we're marking 325, and like I say, it's up to Tom and Lisa Mitchell.
All right, get that sponsor. We'd love to see you back. Adam?
Ray, if my numbers are correct, Rick Crawford will make his 23rd start at Martinsville tomorrow. Justin Lofton making his Martinsville debut. 6th quick in that final practice, so it looks like the learning process is going well.
Yeah, it is. First practice, a little frustrating for me. Just wasn't paying attention, trying to overdrive the track. But second practice, or in between first and second practice, sat down, made some good changes, and my spotter took me down into walk through 1 and 2, and said, okay, look, this is what Jimmy Johnson's doing. This is what all the big Martinsville winners are doing, and this is what you need to do. Went out there second practice and really had it hooked up, and just out there enjoying myself, and ended up next at the top of the board. So really proud of all the guys on the number 7 Red Horse Racing Toyota Tundra, and looking forward to a strong finish tomorrow.
Jimmy Johnson's won 5 of the last 7 races here, so he's not a bad guy to watch if you want to know how to do this.
And not at all. Jimmy or Denny, both those guys are just so smooth around here, and you really can just drive the track and be calm, and everything it takes to be a Martinsville winner.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Rick Crawford making his 325th Truck Series start. Hermie Sadler will be making his 325th NASCAR start tomorrow.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Don't miss Fast Track to Fame. Join host Michael Waltrip and Carissa Thompson as America's most unique performers cut loose each week and compete for their chance to become a star.
Are you guys ready for a good time?
Is the talent competition so wild it could only happen trackside? It's a special encore presentation of Fast Track to Fame from Bristol Motor Speedway this Monday on Speed.
I'm really proud to be a part of it. Love, it's pretty amazing.
Her name is Amanda Brookman, and she is my destiny, although she may not know that, per se. So you can go online and make any kind of car you want. I made a love car.
Do I think they stand a chance? I mean, who doesn't love love?
I love love.
What will you design? ToyotaRacing.com.
Who?
Hello! Why don't you try a home-cooked meal with yummy hamburger helper?
Oh.
Ta-da! Fantastically tasty, huh?
That's good.
What would you guys like?
Hamburger helper.
What? 1 pound, 1 pan, 1 tasty meal!
The energy drink for your feet. With ZigTech, I get more train, less pain.
To the show. Fiberglass Boomtown, Mecca for the V8 faithful. Pilgrims, diehards, gearheads, zealots, a multitude of fans bound together by a ribbon of asphalt. Celebrating as one the triumph of speed and the escape from everything routine. If you've never been, check your expectations at the gate. Everything else is just a game.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Welcome back. A shortened version of our final practice for the Camping World Truck Series because of a rain shower. The rest of the day, NASCAR Live is coming up next with Steve Burns. Then Sprint Cup qualifying, and the Camping World Truck Series will qualify. There are 39 trucks here vying for 36 spots. And Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon will stop by trackside later on this evening. That begins at 7 o'clock. So you want to stay right here on speed with us.
Barely even sprinkling, as you can see right now. So I think we'll be back on the racetrack here before too long. Hopefully the second or the Sprint Cup qualifying session will get underway, and then obviously we'll be back right behind that with Camping World Truck Series qualifying.
Team trucks fastest in this final practice. Kevin Harvick and Ron Hornaday, the only two trucks that broke the 20-second mark in this final practice. Again, coming up next, it is NASCAR Live with Steve Burns. Tomorrow, 1:30, Chris Devoto gets us kicked off with a setup presented by Polaris, and then the race at 2 o'clock. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Rick Allen. At the Martinsville Speedway, the dryers are going to go into action as they'll be the only vehicles on this half mile for a little while. It is not raining as we speak. This NASCAR Live is brought to you by Geico. It's been an odd day weather-wise. We had some overcast skies, then some sun, and then a shower here in Martinsville, Virginia, South Central Virginia, about 45 miles north of Greensboro, North Carolina. Let's take a look at the menu. Hoping we're going to keep things on schedule, keep the rain away from here. At 3 Eastern, we'll have Sprint Cup qualifying here. 46 teams here for 43 starting spots. Then the Camping World Truck Series qualifying session as well. Remember, they race tomorrow here at 1:30. And on trackside, pleased to have Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon. So Gordon, Burton, and the rest of the boys, and just off of his afternoon nap, Kyle Petty.
I need to go take my afternoon nap.
Somebody just asked Kyle if he was awake, and he said just barely. Handsome Hermie Sadler has just run over here. The chopper just dropped him off, so he'll be joining us here in just a minute.
Good.
The chopper has dropped him off. One good thing about a short track, well, there's a lot to like. This place will dry pretty quickly if we don't have any more rain.
Yeah, it's a half mile and with concrete corners, and that's a big deal. You know, we saw Bristol, how quick it dries. The concrete racetracks, for whatever reason, the water seems to not be absorbed into it as good, and they dry pretty quick. And Martinsville's always done a great job. We saw the Service Master clean stuff out there, cleaning it up, so it should be good.
Yeah, we got a little breeze, so hopefully we'll be underway again. Top of the hour is Cup qualifying. Let's go down to the garage now for our Geico Pit Report and Bob Dillner.
Standing down here with Johnny Benson. Really nice to see this guy back here, and he's running a good truck here, the number 15 machine, near the top of the heap in this practice session, but this is certainly going to ruin things for the rest of your day.
Well, it was. I mean, we were just about ready to go out and do a practice qualifying run to see what we did have, and truck's been good. Cowboy's been doing a good job here, Billy Blue, and just having a good time, and really got to thank Red Top Auto Auction for being on board. They got some big events coming up in May 22nd, that's Saturday and Sunday down in Georgia there. So some pretty neat stuff going on. I was looking at the brochure, some of the stuff that they're selling. Might have to make a trip. They got some pretty neat stuff.
I think they're actually auctioning off one of the old Dale Jarrett Ford Cup machines that won the championship way back when. That's pretty neat. But nice to see you back here. I mean, where are we going to see you at for the remainder of the season, John?
Well, probably hit and miss. I mean, I don't really have anything. I mean, Billy gave me a great opportunity to come run here. You know, we've run good here in the past, and we won here a year ago. So it's a good track for us, and I just appreciate the opportunity to come have some fun and hopefully go win this race.
You might win it. I mean, you're pretty good here before. I remember a Cup win here way back when. That was pretty darn good for you.
Well, we've always had some pretty good luck here. So we did win, with Trip Bruce and everybody at BD's there. We won the truck race here in the fall. So it was a good race for us, and it's always exciting. And, when you're running for a championship, able to win a race. So it's neat place.
Always good seeing a good guy like Johnny Benson, and he won't be out of the seat. He's actually running one of Kyle Busch's super late models at Berlin, his old home track in Marne, Michigan there on June 15th, right around the Michigan event.
Yeah, we're waiting for Greg Biffle to wrap up an interview. Matt Yoakum doing something for NASCAR.com. We'll get back to him in just a minute, guys. So rain continues here. Oh, here's Greg. Matt just wrapped up. Greg, we got an opportunity to speak with you here a little bit earlier, but now that you've gone out and turned some laps here on this racetrack, you go out 9th. If we get qualifying in, you were 22nd on the board. How's the car?
You know what? The car's pretty good. I mean, 22nd for us. And the 3M Census 40 is pretty good at Martinsville. You know, I was on the other side of the sheet down there in the 40s, but getting it over into the top 20 or getting close to 20th, we're pretty happy about that. We had a huge pickup there at the end, so but I wouldn't be upset if it rained out. I'm 4th in points. We'll just have to wait and see.
This racetrack, although a lot of guys enjoy running here, it is very, very difficult to master. Your thoughts about your progress over the years from a driver's perspective? Have you gotten better, and what frustrates you the most about it?
Well, I don't know. Did you mail your census form back? I'd rather talk about that than Martinsville. This place is so slow. That's one thing that comes to mind when I think about Martinsville. It's so slow, and so then it becomes so technical. And really, if your car won't turn and won't put the power down, it doesn't matter what you do. It's so slow that you give up so much time. And that's the most important thing. And I've gotten a lot better here over the years. When I've had a good car, we've run very good. You know, Irwin, we ran in the top 10, got a lap down, came back, finished 12th. I qualified in the top 10 here in a nationwide car, was running 3rd. So I can run well here if I get the car right.
All right, well, good luck here this weekend, qualifying as well if we get that in today. You know, it's a funny thing, Kyle, Darrell Waltrip said the other day on NASCAR Race Hub, but this is a racetrack where the driver, it's most important for him to get it into the corner. It's the crew chief's job to get it through the corner, and then the driver picks up when you leave the corner.
And that's exactly right. And, Steve and I were talking earlier about how important the driver is to the brakes, how important the driver is. I find it funny that, that I guess Biffle would rather talk about the census than his love of Martinsville. And that says a lot. That statement itself speaks volumes. Because some guys either love this place or you don't like it at all. And you look at the Darrell Waltrips and the Richard Pettys and the Jimmy Johnsons, guys like that who win here, they love this place. You drop farther back in the field. We heard Kurt Busch last week say, man, I don't even know why I'm going there. I hate that place so bad. So it's the mental attitude coming into this place too, and that's why the driver is so important.
And let's put this in perspective, Kyle. By the way, we had a great show backstage. I hope we did as well here. All right, the Biff was 22nd. He ran a 1970. Ryan Newman was the quickest at a 1953. To me, that puts Martinsville in perspective.
Yeah, I mean, how can you be disappointed when you're 2/10 off?
Less than
2/10 off, and you're disappointed about the way you're running at this place. Biffle gets around this place good, so don't count him out. He probably is hoping that it rains a little bit, so he does start 4th.
Now, you talked about brakes. I was blown away. I was reading notes from Clint Boyer this week, and he said, we used to talk about brakes. We can still talk about brakes at Martinsville, but we have $40,000 worth of brakes on these cars. I mean, talk about the evolution and how we got to this point, Kyle, and what it means to the race.
No, it totally changes the race. I think you go back to when the King drove and Pearson and those guys, they run drum brakes up here. Think about running drum brakes up here. You had to run 400 laps and stay off that pedal. People actually ran a light hooked to the brake pedal, so the light on the dash would come on so that you knew when your foot was on the brake, and your crew chief, more importantly, knew when your foot was on the brake, and he would scream at you. But you look at these brakes, the technology in the rotors, the technology in the calipers, the technology in the brake pads, and the fluid, and the way these guys run the lines, the way they cool the lines, the brake lines themselves, the way they look at the master cylinders. It's a totally different technology. And brakes, no matter how much we want to talk about brakes when we come up here, the weak link in the brake chain now is the driver. It's not the brake. It's the driver. When you look at the driver has to keep his foot off that pedal. He has to let it roll into the corner, just as you said, just as Randy said. Darrell says it's the driver's job to get it in. He's got to get it into the corner off the brake, let the car roll free, and then he can put the power down. And that's what it's all about. You see them locking up. That's hard on the tires, but that's killer on the brakes. And if you do that lap after lap after lap, it just wears that stuff out. But I think brakes are an issue of the past. We see brake failure, but it's because of drivers more than anything else. If the system itself breaks down, there's nothing any a driver or anybody can do about that. But if the driver does what he's supposed to do, it's good.
Now, Kyle, Jimmy Johnson has won 5 of the last 7 races. When we come back, I want to share something with you that he said that he wasn't any good here at this racetrack until something happened. And I'll ask you about that when NASCAR Live, presented by Geico, continues here on Speed.
NASCAR Live is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO or visit geico.com. Brought to you in part by eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love? And by Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage.
Tonight, NASCAR heads to the famed half-mile of Martinsville. And we're there as Jeff Burton and four-time Cup champion Jeff Gordon stop by the ultimate Friday night house party. Don't miss NASCAR Trackside, live tonight at 7 Eastern, only on Speed.
Daddy, can I have another? Yes. Seconds on dessert? Yes. At CC's, you get to act like a big spender without being one. And now we've extended our anniversary price of just $3.99. Hurry, it's only through March 28th.
I was getting depressed because of all the stress I was feeling at home. Had a poor credit score and the number would haunt me wherever I go. Thought I'd move to a place where my credit could stink and nobody would care. I just wish that somebody had told me that place was a Renaissance fair. FreeCreditReport.com. Tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your mom. Never mind, they've been singing our songs since we first showed up with our pirate hats on. If you're not into fake sword fights, pointy slippers and green wool tights.
Free credit score and report with enrollment and triple advantage. This is not the free credit report provided for by federal law.
Want to keep that car running better, longer? Take matters into your own hands. AutoZone is the one place with the expertise you need to get the job done right. Because do it yourself doesn't mean you have to do it alone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey guys, get your pen on.
Well, get your pen on. Every time you wear your pin, you are supporting the NASCAR Foundation's efforts to help children live happier and healthier lives. Get your pin today at NASCAR.com/NASCAR Day or at a track near you. I got my pin on.
Tonight on Speed, Jeff Burton and four-time Cup champion Jeff Gordon. You see he's being mobbed right now by the media. They'll join us on the ultimate Friday night house party. It's trackside for Martinsville tonight at 7 Eastern, and it is only on Speed. NASCAR Live is brought to you by Geico. So glad you're with us. Currently not raining here in Martinsville, Virginia. Joining us now is the handsome one, Hermie Sadler. Hermie, I just want to clear this up. You're okay with me and Kyle.
Yeah.
You were highly controversial when you were down at the track.
Well, that's what race car drivers are supposed to be. When I'm inside, I'm the race car driver. I'm supposed to stir the pot. That's what I'm doing.
You stirred it. Good job, dude.
Appreciate that.
That was good.
All right, let's take a look at practice. And Kyle and I, Hermie, were talking just a moment ago about how close these cars are. A 1953 for Ryan Newman. 42 drivers run a sub-20-second lap, including Denny Hamlin, who's the only other driver besides Jimmy Johnson to win here in the last 7 races.
And it's a lot of grip on this racetrack. I mean, these cars, you really got to keep them freed up enough to roll through that center, Kyle, but also that forward bite is as important as it's ever been getting on these straightaways.
Yeah, and you've been on the racetrack. We've not been on the racetrack, but you watch Jeff and these guys, and he's fourth in practice. He rolls through the center of the corner. He was one of those guys that came here and latched onto this place early on.
22 top fives here for Jeff Gordon. That's an amazing number. 7 wins. Marcus Ambrose had a great run going at Bristol, Kyle. Looks like he's backing it up here in practice.
This is a team that ran great last year and ran great this year. They've just had junk luck, man. When you look at the stuff they've broken.
Terrible luck.
If they put together a whole race, he's going to have a good, solid run.
And Hermie, Mark Martin in the 5-car, 2-time winner here.
No surprise. I guess everybody at Hendrick Motorsports is getting into that 48 playbook and looking at their setup. So all the Hendrick cars are running pretty good. Mark Martin, not his favorite place, but he's running good this weekend.
And if you play fantasy racing at speedtv.com, that guy could be your sleeper pick. Ryan Newman, not really known as a short track racer, Kyle, but he has some very good numbers here. Although not a winner, good finishes.
Yeah, but that's what I say. Sometimes you come to a racetrack and you just like it right off the bat for whatever reason. And that was the way it was for Ryan. He came here, he's known more as a speedway racer than some of these others, but he adapted to this place well.
Hermie, as you take a look at the top 10, one name that jumps out at me as a bit of a surprise is Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, good run for him. And A.J. Allmendinger, they were testing at Little Rock last week. All the petty cars, he had a good run going as well.
See, Juan doesn't jump out to me because don't you remember last year when Juan was on the outside of the 24 car and the 24 car said, tell him to quit racing me. He's racing me too hard. I'm not knocking his Juan was running that race, man. He's good.
And Jamie McMurray, another sleeper pick. He also has good numbers here on the half mile at Martinsville. Let's go back to the garage and Bob Dillner.
Well, Steve, just joking around with Paul Menard right here, and I told him, the radar doesn't look too good right now. And he says, well, it all depends on your definition of good. So what's your definition of good?
Well, we're 9th in points and 32nd on speed, so it's looking good right now. But, we're real happy with the car and race trim. We unloaded pretty decent. Made a qualifying run, and we kept kind of tightening the car up, and it was just going the wrong way. So we're kind of resetting everything right now, and we get qualifying in. I'm looking forward to seeing how we run because I think we're making big improvements to it. And if nothing else, we'll practice tomorrow and work on it.
You talk about big improvements. You have made a huge improvement this year. Paul Menard is 9th in points right now and looking really good, very consistent every single week. Is this the most comfortable you've been in a Cup car in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's we've had some good runs, so I as a driver know what I need to feel in the race car. That's big, just knowing what the feel is that you're looking for. Then with Slugger and I, our communication's pretty good, so we can, if we're off, we can work on it and make good decisions on how to improve it.
What about on Sunday here, once we get to race time? Paul and I were talking about this track, and it's unlike so many, but we were chatting about the fact that it's kind of like Marshfield up in Wisconsin. He's won there before, but then again, you didn't race big old heavy stock cars up there as well, like a Cup car.
Now, those cars were 1,000 pounds lighter and a lot less horsepower, but it's pretty similar to a Marshfield Speedway or a Madison International. Just a lot different at the same time.
Paul Menard looking for a good run this weekend to keep his streak alive. He's top 10 in points, Randy Pemberton.
Well, we continue to ride out the rain down here. It's beginning to clear just a little bit. You guys saw a shot of Jeff Gordon a little while ago speaking to the media, and just kind of an inside glimpse on what goes on here in the garage area each and every week. The guys that are top 12 in points, they all have to give what they call a presser, and many of them are done in the media center. You see some of that sound coming here on speed, and Jeff Gordon oftentimes does this outside his transporter back here. They were about 5 deep and about 30 to 40 strong, all local members of the media, national writers, as well as television people, all here and that's what they do. They have to talk to everybody to give them time, and that's John Edwards over there, PR person behind him. He sets all this up. Jeff over here, getting ready to get another interview. So just kind of an inside look. It goes on with everybody inside the top 12. Of course, nowadays, so many members of the media covering this sport. There's no way Jeff could stand there and give everybody single interviews. He just would not have the time, as well as the rest of those drivers. So just kind of a glimpse into what goes on while they're not inside the car, and this is just one of the obligations these guys have, similar to what Hermie went through earlier on today.
All right, thank you very much, Randy. We'll be back with Kyle Petty and Hermie Sadler. Of course, Bob Dillner down in the garage will join us as well. Let's take a look. If, in fact, qualifying is rained out, the drivers not making the show include Johnny Sauter, Terry Cook, and Casey Mears. But again, just a few sprinkles falling right now, so we're hopeful of getting that in just a little while. Stay with us.
I'm Eric from SafeLight. So you think that chip's too small to worry about? Well, a big bump could turn it into a crack. But if you call SafeLight as soon as the chip appears, we can come to you and usually repair it without replacing the windshield. We inject our special resin, and in just 30 minutes, the result's almost invisible, and it's strong again. Plus, with most insurance plans, SafeLight repair is no cost to you. Don't wait. Call us now or schedule online.
SafeLight repair, SafeLight replace.
When I think of value, I think of Wrangler. Always have.
Wrangler Jeans Company. New looks, priced right.
You can pay more, but you won't get more.
Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
Daddy, can I have another? Yes. Seconds on dessert? Yes. At Cece's, you get to act like a big spender without being one. And now we've extended our anniversary price of just $3.99. Hurry, it's only through March 28th.
A broken heart, I can't help you. Rocket science, don't know what to tell you. I may not know how to get to the moon, but when I wanna fly, my crew knows what to do. Crank around the wheel in the left rear. You're only turning 9,000, need another gear. Never know how.
UFC legends looking for the sport's next star. Every Wednesday at 10, 2 teams of middleweights battle for a UFC contract on Spike's groundbreaking series. Coached by rivals Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz. The Ultimate Fighter, Wednesdays at 10 on Spike.
Comcast Spring Break is back at the admission-free Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk April 7th to 9th. Come down Thursday, April 8th to meet UFC heavyweight Cain Velasquez. Details at ComcastSpringBreak.com.
A complimentary service if we don't solve a routine problem in one visit. A $20 account credit if we're late to an appointment. And a 30-day money-back guarantee on all our services. The new Comcast Customer Guarantee. From all of us to you.
NASCAR Live brought to you by Geico, back at the Martinsville Speedway, hoping to get Sprint Cup qualifying and Camping World Truck Series time trials in here a little bit later on, weather permitting. Now let's take a look at the second-year operation of Stewart-Haas Racing. Tony Stewart is actually ahead of where he was at this time in points last year. Ryan Newman, on the other hand, has had nothing but tough luck looking for his first top 10 finish. Earlier today, Tony Stewart went into the media center and talked to the folks in there about his crew chief, Darian Grubb, who's from Floyd, Virginia, not too far from here, and the success of Darian's former team, the 48 team with Jimmy Johnson.
He was such a huge part of when we hired him a year and a half ago, of really getting the ball rolling and getting the process started of getting the right people hired in the right positions. And he had to do a lot of work that was above and beyond a crew chief's job to get everything going. So there's absolutely no way that we would be where we are with this organization without him right now, because he doesn't do anything on the racetrack that makes him mad other than win. I mean, he's the kind of guy that it's hard to not like Jimmy. I mean, he's personable. I get along with him great. I mean, every time I won a race last year, he was one of the first people to send me a text message congratulating me. And I think that shows Jimmy's personality and character. And he's just not one of those guys that goes out there and gets into guys and gets into trouble with guys on the racetrack that creates some of that, animosity that the fans have sometimes.
So that's Tony Stewart's comments earlier today. So I'll ask both you guys this question. Hermie, like I said, Tony Stewart's 5th in points, ahead of where he was at this point last year. Ryan Newman, though, 26th.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it a slump yet. I think they overachieved a little bit or caught people by surprise some last year. This year, they're just not under the radar. Their level of expectation, I'm sure internally, but certainly with the media and the fans and other competitors, they were expected to be, top 10 teams because of what they did last year. So you got to give them a little bit more time. But but I still think they have covered a lot of ground in a short period of time.
Yeah, definitely. So I think you nailed that. I don't think anybody expected anything from Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman last year. Nothing at all. And then they come out and all of a sudden they're winning races. They're leading the points. They got 2 cars in the top 10, and people are like, okay, what happened? Where'd those guys come from? This year, I think they expected them to move from that forward again. If they can just duplicate what they did last year, it'll be a phenomenal second year.
When they first started, the steps they were making progress was big steps.
Yes.
Now they've gotten competitive. Now you'll see small steps of improvement.
We talk about it all the time. We talk about these times being 1950. Okay, to run a 1950, I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a pretty good ways from a 1990. You can get from a 22 flat to a 1990 fairly quick, but those last 2 or 3 tenths are hard.
Now, Kyle, you've worked with teams where momentum started well and momentum started slowly. It's hard to turn that ship when you've had bad luck like that week after week.
But here's the advantage now, I think, and this is just my opinion. The advantage now is it's not just the Ryan Newman team that's had bad luck. It's Tony Stewart's team who's had pretty decent luck on the other side. So it's the entire organization. That's not a momentum killer for the 39. I don't think you look at the 39 and say, man, they've had trouble here, they've had trouble there, yada, 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 whatever. You look at it and you say, well, that kills their momentum. No, Tony will drag that momentum, and that team will keep them going.
Hermie, the other part of this, when you look at Ryan Newman there in the 39 is, I know you racers always hang your hat on, how are we running? Not necessarily the finishes, how are we running?
Yeah, and that's the big thing is, is how you're performing on the racetrack. If you've got a top 5, top 10 car, you're going to have some bad days. You're going to have bad pit stops and finish 17th, 18th, but they overcame a lot. If you think back to Daytona last year, crashing those cars, and then coming back, I think back to Pocono last year, Tony Stewart, basically a first-year operation, can crash a car, go to a bag-up car, and still win. That says a lot about the depth of that organization. I'm not worried about them a bit. I think they'll be back. And when it comes time to money time in the summertime, both those guys will be there.
We are running well. We are running extremely well. However, we are now running to a break. Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar? Introducing Fast Track to Fame. Join hosts Michael Waltrip and Carissa Thompson as America's most unique performers cut loose each week and compete for their chance to become a star. Don't miss Fast Track to Fame this Monday on Speed.
Ron Hornaday struggled in Atlanta while his owner Kevin Harvick cruised to victory lane. Saturday, the world's toughest trucks march into Martinsville, and we're there as the action gets tight.
And some contact.
And metal is crushed.
Oh, into the wall.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, live from Martinsville, Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
There aren't many of us who use a cell phone just to make phone calls. But when AT&T or Verizon offer you an unlimited plan for $69.99, that's all it's good for, phone calls. With Sprint, for the same price, you get unlimited text, unlimited web, and unlimited calling to every mobile phone in America. Now that's more like it.
$69.99 for unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile in America. Only from Sprint.
At Polaris, we didn't build a machine with 70 horsepower to be taken out for a Sunday drive. Like we didn't engineer a machine that packs an 800 twin EFI to haul around a picnic basket. Extreme machines, extreme deals. Right now, get up to $1,200 in rebates and financing as low as 3.99%. That's up to $1,200 in rebates and financing as low as 3.99% on the hardest working, smoothest riding line of ATVs and side-by-sides. The Polaris XP sales event.
Let's see if this seafood place can match the value of Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. I'd like the crab cakes and throw in chowder, salmon, and shrimp, all for around $10.
No.
$10.
The bird says no.
You're joking, right? Funny guy! No other place can match Golden Corral's Great American Seafood Tour. It's Hawaiian coconut shrimp, Maryland-style crab cakes, new tilapia Florentine, and more. It's part of our endless dinner buffet, and it's all for around $10. Now that's quite a catch. Golden Corral. Help yourself to happiness.
Back at the Martinsville Speedway, so far not raining, still breezy, so hoping to get qualifying in at 3 Eastern. Well, this will be race number 6. Let's take a look back at race number 5. Last weekend at the Bristol Motor Speedway, Kurt Busch led 278 laps before finishing 3rd at Bristol last weekend. Final restart, Jimmy Johnson took 4 tires, and that proved to be the difference. Greg Biffle on the 16 took just right sides. Pass for the lead coming up. There it is. Jimmy Johnson goes by Tony Stewart. And Jimmy Johnson wins for the 50th time. He got his first win in April of 2002. 50th win that ties him with Ned Jarrett and Junior Johnson. Kurt Busch didn't like it last Sunday. Still not real wild about it here this morning.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where the additional speed is coming from. I felt like our car was working a little bit better than it normally had been in the past, and yet our lap times weren't that competitive. I always joked around when the pace starts getting pretty quick here, you get into the lower 19s. And I always joked around, you just have to have an older guy who was born in the 30s or the 40s and shoot for that lap time. So we're shooting for a 1940-something. And I don't know if Jeffrey Thousand's that old, but we'll go for his birthday and go from there. I mean, it's just an ongoing joke when you got 19 seconds as far as lap time getting around the track, and the pace seems to be pretty quick right now.
All things being equal, I think Kurt Busch would have to say he's pretty thrilled with the start to this season.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Addington has made a definite difference for that race team. A lot of talk in the offseason. You know, Kurt's a pretty Feisty is a good word. I mean, some of the stuff he said on the radio last year was quite comical, I thought. But he says what he thinks on his mind at that particular time. So you had to wonder, is Steve Addington kind of a quiet guy? For the most part, will that combination work? And Kyle, I think it has. Definitely, he's brought some stuff to that organization over from Gibbs that has really helped him.
Yeah, I think he's brought some stuff to the entire organization. And I think Kurt said that before. Kurt was, I thought he was incredibly competitive. I think this is a huge step. You look at what they're doing right now. These guys are competing single-car team, multi-car team, one manufacturer, Dodge. They are Dodge's flagship. They do everything for Dodge. Dodge is behind them 100%, and I think that's helped that program because I think they go back to their engineers, they do that. And then Addington brought over what Toyota, what Gibbs was doing. He melds that with the Penske organization, which has always been one of the greatest organizations in racing, and I think it's showing up on the racetrack early.
I think early on this year, of course, Kurt Busch has got the results, but the 77 of Sam Hornish and Brad Keselowski, you could just see them on the racetrack. The way the cars are riding on the track is different than they were last year, and I think Steve Addington's got a lot to do with that.
Hornish had a great run. He was 10th for a long time at Bristol.
Been really good this year.
Just had some mechanical problems. We'll be right back to the Martinsville Speedway. Again, keeping the raindrops away. Glad you're with us along for the ride. Stay with us here on Speed from Martinsville.
Sunday, NASCAR Race Day marches into Martinsville, and we're there as Denny Hamlin, Mark Martin, Elliott Sadler, and the King Richard Petty join us live. Plus, NASCAR legends Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett welcome Jimmy Johnson to the prestigious 50-win club. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot. Live from Martinsville Sunday at 10 Eastern. And celebrate with us at 8 Eastern in NASCAR Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco.
Only on Speed.
We ride in the sun. We ride in the rain. We ride when times are good. And we ride when the economy stinks. If the world were ending tomorrow, we guarantee you we'd be on our bikes today. For those who want to ride with us, we've put up $1 billion of our own dollars to make right now the best time ever to get on a Harley. It starts at $99 a month. The Harley-Davidson Ride Easy Guarantee.
I'm Ivan Stewart. When it comes to cleaning out your fuel system, nothing's more effective than Fuel System Restore. Its unique formula safely removes carbon deposits that build up inside the engine. A great product that restores mileage, power, and performance.
Think you've seen it all at lunch? It's time to unthink.
Get a grip on the new KFC boneless filet, our meatiest piece of boneless chicken ever, with a side, biscuit, and drink for just $5. Unthink and taste the unbucket side of KFC.
New Irish Spring Intensify Body Wash gives you the legendary freshness of Ireland, spiked with a jolt of eucalyptus for an intense tingle. New Irish Spring Intensify, legendary freshness.
The energy drink for your feet. With ZigTech, I get more train, less pain.
Hey, View of the Speed tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern after both Cup practices, also televised here on Speed. Timothy Peters likes the looks of that. A win from last year here at Martinsville, his home track. You will see that at 1:30 Eastern here on Speed. And joining Hermie and Kyle here on stage is Timothy Peters. And, Timothy, I think as broadcasters, we look at Daytona as, race number one, the big one that everyone wants to win, then the Brickyard. But you said last year here, you're from nearby,
right,
that winning at Martinsville was essentially your Daytona.
Absolutely. I wouldn't change anything in the world for getting your first win on your home turf. I guess anybody up and down the garage area says, this is where I'm from, anywhere close to it, they want to win. But I tell you, to go to Daytona and to pull into victory lane and to see all those lights and the guys standing back there, I don't think it matters if it's a bicycle race. If you're in victory lane, it's pretty cool.
This race that you won here last year, how much did winning that race and knowing that, hey, I can do it and I belong, how much did that confidence enable you to make the moves you needed to make at Daytona? Because at Daytona, if you think for a second, sometimes you lose your spot.
Absolutely. It gave me a lot of confidence. It answered a lot of personal questions for me sometimes that I have, so. But I'm really, really appreciative of the opportunity that I have with Tom DeLoach. Week in and week out, we have the great resources through Toyota. He believes in his race team. He'll do whatever it takes to run up front. And when you run good, it gets momentum on your side. The guys work hard each and every week, and it's cool to have their chest pumped out too.
My question is this. Race car drivers are strange people. You tell them they can't do something, they're going to go out of their way to prove it. You bounced around for a few years, and people, you had this job, and people would kick you out and move you around. To come back and solidify yourself as winning here at Martinsville and then winning Daytona, how nice was that to see those guys in the garage area and say, hey, remember me? I'm Timothy Peters.
How do you like me now?
How do you like me now? How nice was that really?
Well, it felt good for me because we're winning races and we're running good each and every week. When we crossed that racetrack, I told a guy earlier, it makes you feel like that you're back at South Boston in Orange County. You're a threat to win week in and week out. I knew I could do it, but it makes a lot of difference when somebody believes in you and gives you what you need instead of telling you what you need.
Timothy, in the bigger picture, all right, you got the win at Daytona, season opener. Is that going to set you up to be a championship contender?
I think so. At the beginning of the year, Tom sat down with us. They brought on Jeff Hensley, put everybody that was the best of the best on our team. We're going to give the 17 team the championship contending team. Right out of the bat, we tested at New Smyrna. Jeff and I clicked right off the bat. Going to Daytona, probably the most prepared that we've ever been. So it makes me feel good that week in and week out that we run well. I want to get our qualifying down a little bit better. Hopefully we can start this weekend if we can get it in.
Hey, he's got Jeff Hensley, 2 Virginia boys.
That's what I was going to say.
They can understand each other. That's
Team
the problem I've
Virginia.
got. Everybody can understand what I'm saying.
Now, wait a minute. Your mom is from Smoky Ordinary, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
So your hometown is?
Danville, Virginia.
That's the big city right there. Timothy, best of luck in qualifying and the race. Do you cook? Do you have a specialty?
I can't cook nothing, but I can cook a steak. That's about all I can do.
That's all you need.
That's all you need.
I could eat it every day of the week.
That's all you need.
Steak and taters.
All right, then, let's go now to our racing chef, Nikki Morse.
I'm here at Stater Brothers with the hauler drivers for the number 33 Cheerios Hamburger Helper Chevrolet. Let me introduce you to Dennis and James, a.k.a. Gator and Nunn. Gator, where do you even start?
We have a little list we usually go by and just go get what we got to get.
Nunn, how long something like this take?
It all depends. Sometimes an hour. West Coast takes a little more because we got to restock everything because pretty much we start from fresh out here.
Today I got a little challenge for you because I know you're under the gun all the time. I know you got everything's timing. I'm going to give you each the same grocery list. You have to go get all 10 ingredients in the store and get back. I'm going to meet you at aisle 9. The only kicker is you have 2 minutes. You better make sure you have good carts. I'll see you at aisle 9 in exactly 2 minutes. Go! Not only do these guys drive over 60,000 miles a year in their rigs, they also have to buy the groceries for Clint and the whole team for the whole weekend. Look, I'm not telling him. Look at this right here. No way. Dude, you have like 15 seconds to spare. You got everything?
Well, it's done. He already done.
All right, did you do pretty good?
Everything but one item.
Hey, I got to tell you, we had a lot of fun today, but these guys work really hard. I mean, they work really hard. Guys, thanks for having fun with us today. I appreciate it. And good luck this weekend, man. Give it to them.
Thank you.
All right.
And you can see the racing chef Monday nights at 9 o'clock. If it weren't for the truck drivers, everybody would go hungry in the garage.
Everybody would go hungry. Sorry, the media, the officials, everybody would go hungry.
Being able to drive a truck is secondary. You got to be able to cook.
That's exactly right.
And shop.
And shop.
And shop, obviously.
Timothy, thanks again, man. Best of luck.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, guys.
Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
More NASCAR Live with Hermie, Kyle, Bob Dillner, and Randy Pemberton here on Speed. Oh, you got to get a Martinsville hot dog with chili, right, Hermie?
12 summers of boat hauling, 63 miles of commuting daily. For any extreme from the road to the racetrack, nothing beats Mobil 1. The choice of over half of all NASCAR teams. So put some NASCAR in your car. Mobil 1.
Daddy, can I have another? Yes. Seconds on dessert? Yes. At Cece's, you get to act like a big spender without being one. And now we've extended our anniversary price of just $3.99. Hurry, it's only through March 28th.
Attention drivers statewide. If you are insured with Allstate, Geico, State Farm, or any other car insurer, you may be overpaying by hundreds of dollars. Find out how to get immediate savings through 21st Century Insurance. What would it take to get you to switch your car insurance? If we told you that you could save $474 a year, wouldn't you pick up the phone? Start dialing, because you could save that much. People who switched from Geico saved around $481. From Allstate, $526. Your savings could be higher, like this driver who switched. Or this one. And no other company gives you 21st Century Security Advantage that includes roadside assistance at no additional cost. Immediate savings available through 21st Century Insurance. Call for a free rate quote today. Call 1-888-GET-2121 for a free rate quote. You could save hundreds of dollars. That number again is 1-888-GET-2121. Call now or visit 21st.com.
Comcast Spring Break, presented by Pizza My Heart, is back at the admission-free Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Come down for 3 days of sand, surf, music, and hot rides. Free beach concerts daily featuring Joel Streeter, Jesse Brewster, the School of Rock Show Band, and Petty Theft. The Boardwalk is open daily for Spring Break starting Saturday, March 27th. Visit beachboardwalk.com for special Spring Break discounts. For accommodations, call the Hilton Santa Cruz Scotts Valley. Grab your friends and head to Comcast Spring Break April 7th through the 9th. Details at ComcastSpringBreak.com.
Honesty. Pass it on.
Extremely easy piece of equipment to operate, and the relief that it brings me is well worth the 3 to 5 minutes.
Give it a try and discover why over 1 million people worldwide have put their trust in Teeter hang-ups.
Sunday, NASCAR race day marches into Martinsville. The King, Richard Petty, a 15-time winner at Martinsville, joins the team live. Plus, Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett welcome Jimmy Johnson to the prestigious 50-win club. It's all on NASCAR race day, built by the Home Depot, live from Martinsville, 10 Eastern, only on Speed. What's so funny, Kyle?
I'm sorry. I laugh at myself.
Everything we're hearing.
I laugh at myself, man. I just laugh at myself.
All right, let's go back to the garage and let's hear from Randy. Randy?
Well, it's still coming down out here, and it's frustrating for a lot of teams. And one of the guys that it would be frustrating for here today is Doug Richard. Most people recognize him now from NASCAR Performance here on Speed, but a lot of people don't know that, he's the youngest crew chief to ever win a championship in the Sprint Cup Series. 20 years old he did it with Dale Earnhardt Sr. way back in, I think, 1980 or so. But let's get to, let's get to this day. If it rains today, unfortunately, your driver, Casey Mears, you're not going to make this race.
Yeah, this is not what we want to see right now, unfortunately, because we had a good enough time that we felt like we could get in the race with. If practice ended and that was qualifying, then we'd be in the race. So, that's the unfortunate side. It's not over yet. We're hopeful that we can get in there and at least go try to make a lap. If we don't make it, we want to at least know that we tried anyhow. But all in all, is good. Really cooling down right now. The weather could play a part on it. This place is hard to get enough heat in your tires to where you can go out and get enough grip to go cut a good lap. So I think you're gonna see some guys slipping and sliding, definitely, and hopefully I'm not one of them.
Hey, let's get your perspective on the testing this week that went on at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the spoiler and all that. What did you think everybody gained out of that?
Well, I think confidence, probably more than anything. I think switching from the wing and going to that new blade and all that. There's some aero shifts in it. Obviously, I don't have a lot of that information like the big teams do, but we've talked about, when you dam that spoiler up, we've talked about it in NASCAR Performance, that when you put that blade up, it packs that air and it moves that balance forward. So we'll gain a little bit more front downforce. We always want that. These cars are always too tight. We fought tight. So it'll shift that balance forward a little bit and maybe help the front ends work a little bit. But I think all in all, from a visual perspective, I saw cars out there really gouging. They were running up against the wall. They were running the middle groove, and they were running on the bottom. So I think you're going to see some good racing with it.
Well, I hope we get to visually see you qualify here this afternoon. Good luck, and hopefully you'll get this one in. Bob Dillner?
Thank you.
Well, Randy, you can tell Doug Richard has done some TV and that show NASCAR Performance that Larry Mack's on because he keeps on looking at the camera while he's talking to you. This guy right here, Steve Addington, crew chief for Kurt Busch. Wow, the Busch brothers the past couple of years, and last 2 weeks have been pretty darn good for you. But let's talk about that spoiler a little bit. What'd you see from the test this week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway?
I actually got our car really tight. It surprised me. I thought that with what we saw at Texas that the car would be freer, but with the shark fin on the deck lid, it tightened the cars up a good bit. So I don't see a big change in it. To be honest with you, I think that the balance of the car is going to be about the same. You're going to be tight in traffic.
Now we come here to Martinsville. We have the spoiler on for the first time. Unfortunately, Mother Nature not being too kind to us, but rain, good or bad, as far as qualifying for you?
I think I'll take it either way. I think we've got a really good Miller Lite Dodge. We're really happy with it in race trim. So all the guys here at Penske Racing and all the guys that work on this number 2 car have worked their tails off and practice and everything. I think we got a good car.
You know, after Bristol this past week, obviously you guys had an awesome car, one of the 2 best cars out there. And Kurt was definitely a little bit disappointed at the Bristol Motor Speedway, finishing where he did right behind the 48 car. And we've been talking about that whole psychological game, How do you control that from a crew chief standpoint?
I just told him that I look at it as every one of the cars out there are blank. The number on it doesn't matter. You get beat, you get beat. I'd have been upset. It wouldn't matter what car number won that race. I think that you can't take anything away from Chad and Jimmy. They've got it going on, and they're really good together. But I think that we have something to compete with. It's this team right here can do it. The driver can do it. So that's all I'm worried about. I said we can't worry about what everybody else is doing or what they're doing with their cars. We just got to worry about what's going on with this 2 car and Kurt Busch, and then help our teammates out. But that's the way I've always looked at it. It hadn't been a car number out there that makes you mad or frustrates you. Everybody in this garage area knows that Chad and Jimmy are good. Chad's good at what he does. He's proved that with the championships. Jimmy's one of the best. He's proved that with all his championships. But there's some good drivers in this garage area and some good race teams that can compete with them. They just need to stay focused on their stuff. And that's what I told Kurt after the race there when I walked up to him. I said, I'm proud of what you did today. I said, the circumstances beat us. Nobody else beat us. So, and he calmed down a little bit, and I was very proud of that. He did that and listened. But it should be between us and this race team right here, calming down. We know what we did. We had a good car at Bristol. We led a lot of laps there. Yeah, you hate to lose. I hate to lose worse than anything, but the circumstances that we were put in, starting out on the inside and 17 spinning his tires and getting us behind there, the opportunity opened up for Jimmy, and he took it. So that's the way it is in this business. You never know till that checkered flag falls. So that's the reason I try not to get excited leading races and having a good car and dominating. You got to go all the way to the checkered flag.
Spoken like a true professional. And of course, Steve Burns, what do they say? Second place, first loser. You can only have one winner each week, and these guys are trying to go for that.
Bob, Kyle was saying earlier that you said you loved the post-race interview that Kyle Busch did. Share with us why.
Well, he talked about how passionate he was. But I think Steve Addington there really basically said exactly the opposite of what Kurt Busch said at last week. You know what I mean? But that's what a crew chief's job is now. I think you look at a crew chief, he's a cheerleader now. He's the coach, he's the dad, he's the guy that pats you on the back when things are down. And basically what he said was, hey, get that out of your mind. We come to beat 42 other cars. I don't care what number's on the side of them. I think Kurt, after the race, he was so focused on the 48. He said, I wish that somebody out of the other 41 cars would have beat me other than that car right there. So what he was saying was, I came to Bristol to race the 48 car. And what Steve's saying is, we go to Martinsville to race 42 other cars. If we're going to win this thing and we're going to win a championship, and I think that's the perfect, Steve Addington is a great crew chief. And he showed right there what a crew chief does in this day and time.
We've been waiting for somebody to step up and say, we're going to be the team that challenges the 48, and don't think for a second that this 2 car is not on the 48's radar. There have been a couple of racetracks already this year. That 2 car has been right there with the 48. They can race with them, and I think Jimmy and Chad both know that. It's just a matter of time. That 2 car, the 48 team, Jimmy and Chad are great closers. They know how to close. Everybody else has got to learn how to run the first 400 laps and then close those last 100 like the 48.
Hey, we'll be back with you in just a minute. Be the biggest racing fan you can be with Verizon Championship Racing at the track and on your phone. From nationwide and IndyCar driver meet and greets to exclusive peeks inside the Penske garage, right on your VCAS phone. We're your hard card to racing nirvana, only from the network with the most 3G coverage, Verizon.
The NASCAR experience live. Everything else is just a game.
Are you ready to discover NASCAR Nation's next great superstar?